O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. We're coming to you live, baby, from CuttersEdgePro.com. The office is here in Davie. We're having some fun while I'm trying to get online right now at the same time. Look at that. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm doing the open and putting in the password, which is a beautiful thing. We love it. We love it. Welcome aboard. How do you like my new hat? They gave me this hat here. I came in with a stylish hat, but they gave me a different kind of hat. So how's it look? Does it look good? Does it look like I belong with this hat? Is this the kind of hat that I should be wearing every day? So what do you guys, can you take me serious if I do this show like this the entire time? I mean, Jesus, that's, oh, well, I see now why I have not. There we go. Now I think I've got it. Okay. There we go. Now I can see myself. All right. Now we go. Yeah. I look pretty silly. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I had I clicked on our YouTube page because, I'm watching the YouTube page. Now I don't have when I'm in studio, I have the live shot, right? And then I have the recorded one that I always have on this iPad here. So now I'm on a little bit of a delay. So there you go. Everybody, I guess they love the hat. There you go. See, Mike? You had the touch right there. It's the kind of hat right here that you need. Anyway, we are at Cutter's Edge Pro, the best landscapers in the world. I should know because my house looks absolutely beautiful. Front yard, backyard. Whoo, doggy. Man, yesterday, Will, I was thinking about you, man, because the wife and I were just hanging out with the dogs last night in the backyard, and it was such a cool night last night. That's the good thing about all these last few months, that it's not hot and humid. You can actually, hang out outside. So it was actually cool to hang out outside, and it's a beautiful thing. I need a Fins hat, bro, he says. Yeah, no, because I never wear a Fins hat on this show. I mean, never. Well, ever. I never wear a Fins hat. That's amazing. Yes, no, I love it, man. Some of you out there, you just tuned in. You never tuned in your life, first time. Damn, Big O, the Red Recover is making your hair grow. Yeah, and horns. Yes, that's right. That's right. I got it, baby. Yeah. By the way, Cam Wolfe is going to join us at 10:30 today. Manny Navarro will stop by at 11:30 to talk a little Canes. Man, it's football season just ended for us, right? How many of you feel like I do right now? Like we need to start the season again already. Like I'm excited because I know Mario's going to recruit his ass off like he has already. And I know that what he's done probably also in the transfer portal is going to make this team better in the next year. And knowing that Van Dyke is coming back, like I'm really excited about it now. And I think they're going to get an offensive coordinator that is going to be a little bit more of what they're looking for instead of what they got with Josh Gaddis, and get a guy that maybe is going to, you're going to run the ball, but you got to be able to, get this passing game going. And then on the flip side, I'm so frustrated because I just think the Dolphins are a much better team than what you saw because of the injuries and the bad luck. They end up in this position. And with all the injuries and a third string quarterback, they took Buffalo to the brink. And when we look at this division, it's not like it can't be had. So I'm already jacked for this offseason and jacked for next season already. I can't wait to go to the Senior Bowl next week, go hang out, go gather some information, meet with a whole bunch of people, meet with some people I haven't met with personally in a couple of years because of the damn pandemic. So I can't wait to get back on the road and get ready for the new season, because I just think that if we go out there and have a good offseason overall, and then finally get some luck next year during the season and stay away from the injuries, I think the Dolphins could have a special season. I really do. So I am already just absolutely jacked about the 2023 season for the Canes and for the Miami Dolphins. I just think there's a lot of potential there, right now. I don't feel as good right now, let's say, about this Heat squad. I don't feel as good right now about the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? But Dolphins, I feel really good about them, and I think the Canes are headed in the right direction. So I can't wait. I wanted to bring something up because I was just, sitting back yesterday and I'm preparing for the show, thinking, what are things that I can bring to bring a little reality to the picture for the Miami Dolphins fan? And what could I do for the phony Tua haters that are out there? So just let me ask you something. So let's just say Tua stays healthy, right? And you get to the playoffs and he loses in the wild card round. And then, let's say the Dolphins come back again to the playoffs and they lose in the conference round. And then let's say the Dolphins come back with Tua and they lose in the divisional round. And then let's say they come back for a fourth year and they lose in a divisional round. What would they do to Tua? What do you think, Sean? What would happen? Do you think people will be critical of Tua that he can't get over the hump? No? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? They won't criticize him at all. No, not at all. So where's the criticism for Josh Allen? Big, bad, burly dude that can run you over and throws for everything and gets all kinds of stats and doesn't get over the hump. Do you know how much they would kill Tua if he was in the same position as Josh Allen and the same results that you fall short? I just want to add perspective to all of this at times because, the other day I tweeted out I was having fun when Pat Mahomes throws to the middle of the field and there's three guys and he can't complete it, right? And it's because they flooded the zone. And I tweeted out, well, I thought it was only Tua that struggles when they flood the zone, right? Even the great Pat Mahomes. So I'm just thinking, it's interesting how Josh Allen doesn't get over the hump, but because of the stats, because of the wow plays, right? This is what you get. You get people that kind of overlook that, right? Meanwhile, here's Brock Purdy. Not a lot of wow plays, couple clutch throws, no wow stats, 19 of 29, 216 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, right? But the problem is you got to watch the game. And then you watch certain downs and he's completing them to extend the drives, to convert third downs over and over again. And then everybody else kind of, does their part. Now, those are really good teams, right? But so are the Bills. The Bills are a really good team. And you know what happens at the end of the game? They say, well, he needs a better second receiver. Not that he missed that guy that was wide open or this guy that was wide open or that he fumbled or that he threw an interception or that his number one receiver is throwing a temper tantrum. It's just interesting to me because I know that if Tua would have gone to the playoffs for 4 straight years just like this, and three of the 4 don't get to the conference, you lose in the divisional round, you lose in the wild card round, they would be roasting Tua. That he's a choker, that he can't get over the hump, that he can't get it done, all that kind of, they would be roasting Tua. It's just funny. I find it entertaining, the double standard that exists out there when they look at one quarterback and then they look at another quarterback, right? Like some of you idiots out there. Oh, I want Lamar Jackson. Well, wait a minute. He's missed 10 games the last 2 years. So you talk about Tua missing games, but you, overlook Lamar Jackson? Who's lost 10 games, not an accurate passer, never wins in the playoffs? But yet he's the better option. Why? Oh, the wow plays. I'm sorry, you guys, some of you out there, you just care about wow plays. So Josh Allen will give you wow plays and Lamar Jackson will give you wow plays. But let's go with the guy that actually can, win the game.
for you. But it's interesting how the criticism doesn't fall on that quarterback or some others. But then when it comes to Uno, well, everybody treats him like completely different than everybody else. You know, Kenny Pickett can have two concussions and come back and play, and it's not a big deal. Now, Tua does it. Oh, my God. There we go. Soap opera started. It's the funniest thing there is in the world. But the double standard. Because if we're going to kill Dak that he can't get over the hump, then we got to kill Josh Allen that he can't get over the hump, right? Big, bad Josh Allen, who should have lost 3 times to the Dolphins if Mike McDaniel could actually do a better job of in-game coaching. Big, bad Bills. That's why I keep saying, I said it a couple of weeks ago, I said it during the game on Sunday, if the Dolphins are healthy, they sweep the Bills. Okay? If they're coached right and they actually make the plays in game 2, they win. And if Mike McDaniel makes the right decisions in game 3, you have a shot at winning with the third-string quarterback against the guy that is praised for everything, but yet doesn't get over the hump. It's interesting. It's interesting. I just we'll keep this recording. It'll be there. I'm sure he'll make a rant out of it and all that good stuff. And then maybe a couple years from now, we'll see how Tua plays out, and hopefully he goes to a couple trips to the playoffs, and let's see how he performs when it's all said and done. Because there's a lot of you that say, man, I wish he was around for that wild card game. Might have been a different story. Let's see. What else do we have? Dolphins need a left guard and a right tackle and get a running back and a CB to pair up with X and Kohu and watch what the team does. Angel, they're getting back Nick Needham. They don't need another corner. With Kohu, Needham, and Trill Williams is coming back too. And they get Brandon Jones. Man, really excited. You get that secondary, adding Kohu. And I think Kohu should be some people talk about bringing back Byron Jones. Why would you do that? You need to peel that Band-Aid out and get rid of it already. That guy proved to you this past year that he wasn't willing to sacrifice for the team, that he was playing for Byron Jones, not for his teammates. X, at least, I give him credit. He could have easily said, hey, man, I got 2 growing injuries. Yeah, I need to take a couple weeks off. And the dude stayed in there. We all could tell he wasn't himself, but at least we got to respect the hell out of the man for actually staying out there and trying. They're paying him a lot of money, just like they paid Byron Jones a lot of money, except one guy at least tried. The other guy didn't. I can't respect that. So Byron Jones gone, and you got to Kohu's the guy that I want starting opposite of X. No doubt. Maybe the year after, you might be drafting somebody to replace X. O has not been elected as the Grand Poobah of the Buffalo Lodge, something Fred Flintstone never accomplished. That is true. That is true. That is true. Betty or Wilma? Which one? Right? Betty or Wilma? Who was hotter? That's the question. Seriously, all these ridiculous points about high-priced, big-name free agents that are a perfect fit for the Dolphins. Ugh. This is going to be a long offseason. Well, Lisa, it's a long offseason if you guys want to listen and watch trolls and idiots they have to fill 24 hours of airtime or websites or things like that. So then they've got to, should the Dolphins trade for Aaron Rodgers? Okay, great. That filled an article for me. 2 days later, should the Dolphins trade for Lamar Jackson? 2 days after that, should the Dolphins make a move for Derek Carr? It's quarterbacks. It's controversy. It's Tua. They know that they can bait half the audience because half the audience is either not convinced or they were already wrong that he couldn't play. So now they're, leaning on the injury stuff. So you could create all kinds of controversy. So I've got, I'm working for Sporting News or Pro Football Network or PFT or whatever. Well, then I've got plenty of articles now. I can go to a Garoppolo, and I can go to a Rodgers, I can go to a Lamar Jackson, and I can fill all kinds of content. And meanwhile, rile up the fan base, just like Skip Bayless grabbing he's like a 60-year-old man and grabbing a jersey of Dak Prescott and throwing it in the trash can, acting like a 15-year-old. And why does he do it? Because he's a professional troll. And that's what he does. So he can get a rise out of people and, keep it going, because that's what you all like out there. You love that. You love to be tortured. You love to be teased. And then you respond to it. And what you have to do is stop watching it. You know that Screaming A doesn't even watch football. So why would you listen to him talk about football? See what I'm saying? And then if you understand what the other ones are trying to do, that they're just trying to, clickbait stuff on the air, that's what they do. Should Sean Payton be the Dolphins coach? Will the owner try to resurrect a deal with Tom Brady? Right? Because there was a connection from before, right? Bruce Beal wanted him and convinced the old man, hey, let's go after him. And then they got burned. But why not resurrect that story? And you got plenty of people thinking that Tom Brady is still an option here, when he's not an option here. It's not going to happen. It's Aaron Rodgers not going to happen. Lamar Jackson's not going to happen. Tom Brady's not going to happen. They're moving on with Tua. This is the part that's kind of interesting that people still don't seem to understand about this. Okay, if the general manager and the head coach stood up in a press conference and told you they're moving on with Tua, how do you think that happens? Do you think that was not passed by the owner already at that point? Of course. If they weren't convinced, they wouldn't have said anything. They would have said, we're assessing everything. We expect Tua to be the guy. They would have done that. They would have given you the expect. Well, we expect it, but they didn't do that. They gave you the absolute. We're moving on. And by the way, I told you 5 days before that press conference happened that they were moving on with Tua. That is the plan. They've got a plan in place, I told you, for Tua. So think about this. Not only are they telling you they're moving on, I told you they already have a plan in place for Tua. So if they have that in place, how are they going to go after another quarterback at this point? It's not going to happen. And they tried to tell you last year Tua was the guy for the next coach, and people didn't want to believe that either. But of course, because it's boring to actually believe what somebody's telling you. You know what I mean? And so that's where you just move forward. Now the owner is not meddling anymore because he lost picks. I doubt that's going to happen now. It's because they've made a decision. They're moving forward. And fiscally, by the way, it's the most responsible move to make, because you're still not paying your quarterback and it allows you flexibility around him. If you go acquire Aaron Rodgers, you're acquiring $50 million. If you're acquiring Tom Brady, you're acquiring $35-50 million of a paycheck. It starts to cripple you. You understand? So they still need a running back. They still need a middle linebacker. They still need another offensive lineman. All these kind of things that they need. Well, they're not going to be able to add that if they also have to give up compensation to get a quarterback. Okay? If it's Aaron Rodgers, if it's Lamar Jackson or whatever, you would have to give up compensation to get him and then a salary. Oh, and by the way, for you people out there that want Lamar, he wants a fully guaranteed contract, which is just cap crippling in every way possible for any team. They told you they're moving ahead with Tua. That's because they probably ran it with the top, and that's it. But don't listen to all the sensationalistic crap. It's going to be out there. And why? Because they have to fill space. Producers on ESPN and NFL Network are saying, okay, this segment we're going to talk about, and it doesn't matter. Let's say San Francisco, ends the season without a Super Bowl, and they're going to talk about that team and 8 different quarterbacks that can go there, and 8 different quarterbacks that can go to the Raiders, and 8 different quarterbacks that can go to the Dolphins or whatever, even if it's not true. And that's what they want to do, Lisa. They just want to bait you into all this stuff every single day. Just don't listen to it. Pay attention to the people that actually are, maybe a little bit more level-headed about what's going on, and they don't care about the clickbait. Because I don't care about the clickbait. I just tell you, the way it is. Now, you're probably not going to take me serious because I have this hat on. And I can understand that. This is not the kind of hat that you would take somebody seriously in. Look at Bromar. He's saying, what the F is that? And there you go. Give that hat a mohawk. I like the fluffiness. I like having the fluffiness here. It's good. Big O, we need a reliable, good quarterback. We want Tua, no doubt, but he's a huge risk right now. Can we really risk what we know is going to happen? Tua will get hurt again. And who are you going to get, Bright? And that's the question. And that's where it all ends. Big O about to storm the Capitol. The QAnon guy, I remember him. I think he got like 4 years in jail, dude. I think that idiot got 4 years in jail. Let's see. What else do we have? If Tua's so good, why would we have to give up so much to get a guy like Aaron or Lamar? Tua isn't worth the first round. Nobody will give up first round if we trade Tua. That shows you his worth. Actually, they would give up a first rounder, I believe. If you put up Tua, somebody will give him up because less than half the league can pass better than him. I'm sorry, there aren't 10 quarterbacks that can pass better than him. But, Trenard, you can fill your head up with whatever crap you want, my brother. Okay? Let's see. Bro, where's Barney? He's getting me a Brontosaurus burger. Okay? I mean, I'm hungry. I need a Brontosaurus burger. Give that hat to Marcel, brother, and make him show us his Bengals thong. We spank him in KC. Okay. I like the Bengals. I would have picked the Bengals with a healthy Mahomes. So now I'm definitely picking the Bengals. I picked the Bengals this past week at Buffalo. Only thing I got right. Let's see, what else do we have? I don't care about arm strength. I care about first downs all the way to touchdowns, control the game. Yeah. So why are you saying Trenard, I'm saying it for morons that actually want to trade. You would have to give up a ton. It puts you at an even bigger deficit when you already have a top 10 quarterback. Trenard, understand what I'm saying is morons. So if you happen to be one of them, then you're a moron. Are we clear on that, Trenard? If you're one of the people that want to trade for a quarterback, then you're the moron because you would have to give up a lot. I'm explaining what you have to do. For those of you that are morons that want to get rid of Tua and think you can easily replace him when a franchise that hasn't been able to find a quarterback for 25 years. Let's see, what else do we have here? Dye the fur on the hat aqua and paint the horns orange. Wear it for the pregame show versus the Bills. It's a good idea. Now, this is not my hat, okay? This is a hat that I was just given to as a joke here, and I said, no, I'm going to wear it for the hell of it. Why not? Are you going to be able to use this like for pictures and stuff like that for the website? Big O, do you think Miami will go after inside linebacker Edmonds from the Bills? I hope so. I hope they go after some kind of stud inside linebacker. They need you need the kid from last year to come through, Tyndall. He's got to grow up and figure things out this offseason. And then you got to make a move for a stud that can move around in the middle. Yes. So I hope they do go after a veteran linebacker for the middle of the field. They need that badly. They've got the guys on the outside. With Chubb and Phillips, you're more than fine. And let me tell you something. I am super excited about Jalen Phillips next year. I think he is going to have one amazing season. By the way, I told you we are here at Cutter's Edge Pro in Davie, and they service all of South Florida, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. I am living it. I experienced it. I watched them transform my entire front yard and backyard into just an absolute masterpiece. And everybody in the cul-de-sac, and we are the first home in the cul-de-sac. So everybody that comes in, when we're outside and they drive in for like the first couple of months, as I would run into different people, they would stop and just give us compliments of how great the house looks, how beautiful the trees are, everything going on. And I got to thank, of course, Will and Mike and all the great people out here at Cutter's Edge Pro. They do an amazing job, tree trimming and removals. Don't do it yourself. Have a professional do it the right way for you. Landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation design and build, synthetic turf. And in the process, you get educated about some of the things that are going on in your home that you don't realize, like a certain root that was up actually damaging, our concrete. And Will was kind enough to kind of educate on what we have to do in order to fix this, which could cause a problem for somebody out there in your home because they could trip on something. You could get sued. These kind of things. And, when we talk about Cutter's Edge Pro, I've been telling you about synthetic turf. If you have dogs, synthetic turf is like the greatest invention of all time. We thought it was only for football and baseball and sports and all that kind of stuff. But when you get to use it every day, where your dogs can go out and do their business, and then when they come back, they're not bringing any dirt, any mud, any rain, nothing. And then when you go out, you're not bringing any dirt or any mud or anything like that. And when the wife just cleans the house and the dogs come in right after she just cleaned the house, that's not a fun situation. Now, if you have artificial turf, she'll never be mad again. It's a beautiful, happy wife, happy life. So Cutter's Edge Pro gets you that happy life. Irrigation, synthetic turf, landscape design, outdoor lighting. They do it all for you. Go to the website, cuttersedgepro.com. Ask for Will, ask for Mike, all the great people out there. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. And by the way, the synthetic turf, you're going to save thousands in the long run because you're not watering it all the time and you're not cutting the grass. Like every 10 to 14 days here in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties. Go to the Instagram page, Cutter's Edge Pro. Go check it out, and you can see a lot of the pictures today on our Twitter page and our Instagram page and Facebook and LinkedIn. You can see a lot of the different examples, including our home. All right, ours is the one that has the mini golf. I should call it the putting green, right? I should call it the putting green, in other words. Working on the short game there. So check it out. They're at cuttersedgepro.com. Kyle F. Eldridge, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, why do these idiots act like Tua isn't the best quarterback we've had since Marino? People act like the Dolphins are just so great at finding QBs. For once, they can just see we have a top 10 QB finally. My brother, it's not just a Dolphins thing. It's lots of teams. Arizona's still trying to figure it out, and they got Kyler Murray, and they still haven't figured it out yet because he hasn't figured it out yet. And for years, they haven't had a guy. The Detroit Lions, they don't have quarterbacks, and now they're, Jared Goff is their guy. Quarterbacks are hard to find, man. The Tennessee Titans have had a Super Bowl caliber type team. All they need is the one guy that takes the snap to make them a Super Bowl winner, and they can't find it. That's really frustrating. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You lived it. It's called Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and Pat Surtain and Sam Madison and Tim Bowens and Ricky Williams and all that and no matter what and Chris Chambers. Oh, man, we don't have the quarterback. You remember those days? Lots of teams struggle with this, man. Dolphins aren't the only ones. But before I get rid of the guy that is easily top 5 in this league because he was rated number 1, I'm not just going to hand away a top 10 quarterback. I just told you, I just gave you the whole thing to start the show with Josh Allen. All the stats, the whole team is there for you. Everything is there for the taking. Damn, it doesn't happen. Holy crap. How about the Cowboys? You think they've got a Super Bowl caliber team? Because it looks like it. They got a defense that is wicked. They got enough receivers. They got a serviceable tight end. They got a decent line. Oh, I'm sorry. They're missing the quarterback. You know how many times that happens? The New York Jets went to the AFC Championship game twice, back-to-back years, because they had a defense, they had a running game, they had an offensive line. Guess what they're missing? Oh, by the way, they're still missing it. The quarterback. So before I let go of Tua, who's the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL, it's incredible to me the level of stupidity that's out there. Just dismissing Tua. Oh, well, no, he's going to get injured. Oh, no, he's this, that. Dude, he's better than anything that they've ever had here since Marino. So until you can find a guy that's better and can stay healthy, good luck with that one, then I'll make the change. Meanwhile, I'm staying with Uno. That's my guy. Okay? I get it. He's got some faults, but guess what? They're fixable. And I've proven it over and over and over again. All his major injuries come from holding the ball 4 to 5 seconds. Apparently, he survived all the other hits, pretty much, except the one Jesse Davis hit that he got hit in the ribs. Okay, that one was under 3 seconds because Jesse Davis got beat right off the line. But outside of that, throughout his whole career, he's dealt with all the other regular quarterback hits and has survived. Oh, and by the way, even with the ribs, he wanted to come back early, and the coach that was there didn't let him. So he would have missed only 1 game. He would have played the week before Baltimore, but they didn't let him. And so then the Baltimore game, well, Jabroni Brisket said, yeah, no, let's open the door for Tua. Broken knuckle and ribs, and he beat the Ravens. No, but let's go replace that guy. No, let's go replace the guy that beats the Ravens with broken ribs and a knuckle coming off the bench, and then the next year they fall behind 21 on the road and beats them. Yeah, because, our quarterbacks have always been beating Baltimore all the time. I'm so used to watching the Dolphins dominate the Baltimore Ravens. Aren't you? No, right? You know what we're used to with the Baltimore Ravens? We're used to abuse. Ask them what's happened the last 2 years. Look what's gone on with what quarterback has played Buffalo the way, well, he didn't play the third one, but the other two and the team overall played them tough. Team's right there, man. Team's right there. All right, let's do it. You know who's always there? Cameron Wolfe, baby, with our KSDT CPA, Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All right, we unleash the Wolf Pack. How you feeling, Cam? You feeling good?
I am feeling good, man. Feeling good. Gonna go get a workout in after this. It's a light week for me, so feeling good.
So let me ask you, if let's say over the next 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
Tua next year goes to the wild card round, they get eliminated.
Okay.
Second year, he goes to the conference round, they get eliminated. Third year, they go to the divisional round, they get eliminated.
Okay.
Fourth year, they go to the divisional round, they get eliminated. How they treating Tua right now?
I see where you're going here. I mean, I think you treat him pretty good, to be honest.
No. You're talking about common sense here. No. I'm not asking you, okay? Because you've had common sense from the get-go with Tua.
Right, but how are you going to ask?
You weren't the absolute
You're literally
idiot.
asking me, though.
No, but I'm just saying because you were the no. I'm trying to tell you about the public, not you, because let's go. You've always been common sense guy. You were never the absolute. Oh, Tua's too short. He doesn't have a strong enough arm. He can't run a high powered. You were like, hey, listen, I like the kid, but I got to see it. That's you were the wait and see guy, and you've waited and you see. So you're a common sense guy. I'm telling you what's outside of you is not common sense. So I'm just wondering what would be the public reaction for Tua, considering what you've seen now, if he actually goes to the playoffs 4 straight years with those results?
So obviously it's never happened, so I can't say for sure, but I do think that the narrative without truth, once you have success, it's about reaching that next level, right? And so you're referring to Josh Allen, obviously, but I think the narrative on Tua is what the narrative eventually will be on Josh Allen. Maybe it would have came sooner with Tua. Is he good enough to take you over the hump? That's going to be the question. It may not have come from for Josh yet, but I think it will and should. But for Tua, it would certainly, that would be the question. You haven't got past the championship round. You haven't got to the Super Bowl. In the case you're mentioning, Josh Allen was 5 years in. Tua was in that situation. I think that the rightful question would be, can he get you over the hump? Is he the right guy to get you over the hump? So that's the question that I think he would face, and I think that Josh Allen will eventually face too.
Yeah, and notice how we treat Dak, which it's kind of again understandable, not getting over the hump, but it just seems like the criticism is stronger in other areas than it is for Josh Allen. That's all I'm saying.
So Josh Allen's
out of this game. Oh, he needs a better second receiver.
Right. Josh Allen is such an interesting case study. I was actually talking to a buddy about this because Josh Allen, talent-wise, may be number one, if not definitely number two, among all quarterbacks in talent. But too often he doesn't realize his talent. And so it's I think part of the media perspective is you saw how bad Josh was when he first got in the league. He was, I think, the worst quarterback in completion percentage in the league his rookie year, maybe even his second year too. Like he was definitely in the bottom 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made a big jump. He did make that big jump in year 3 and year 4 to become an MVP caliber quarterback. And now it's like, is this a ceiling? And so I think people are a little delayed to criticize Josh because you saw how far he came. But in the same respect, eventually it becomes you got to take the kitty gloves off. And it's not about how much you've improved. It's about how good you are and how much you can lead your team to. And so I think that when we're referring to Tua, the conversation for him was such is he good enough to be the franchise quarterback, right? That was the question for 2 years. I think now, at least in this year 3, he's proven that he is good enough to be your franchise quarterback. And now the question's changed. Now the question is he healthy enough to be your franchise quarterback? Can you count on him to be on the field to give you that number? And so the question always changes with these quarterbacks. It's changed from Josh Allen on is he accurate enough to be this team's quarterback to now is he good enough to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? And so I do think it has happened slower for Josh than it has happened for Tua, but the question is going to come.
Look at Joe Burrow, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Second best quarterback in football is Joe Burrow. I think he made pretty clear that he surpassed Josh Allen, Justin
oh
Herbert,
yeah, God,
whoever
he's a
we
much
had
better
up there. I think it's pretty clear that it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Now, there's a weird conversation today about Joe Burrow being over Patrick Mahomes, which I am not.
No, not yet.
But
No.
I do think there's a pretty clear 1-2 in this league: Mahomes, Burrow, and then the rest of the guys.
Well, the thing about Mahomes is that he crosses the threshold that Josh Allen can't cross,
Yeah.
where he can stay in the pocket and beat you because he's consistently accurate from the pocket. Whereas Josh Allen is not consistently accurate from the pocket, and he needs his mobility in order for it to be a weapon. Whereas Mahomes can use his mobility as a weapon, but he uses it only out of necessity. He doesn't use it because he needs it in order to be successful. Russell Wilson, not this Russell Wilson, but the normal Russell Wilson did the same thing. He didn't run to run. He didn't run because, Lamar Jackson has to run. If not, he can't be an effective quarterback. No, he ran because he had no choice, just like Mahomes. He runs because he has no choice. He has to try to extend the play. But if not, he can bust his leg up like he just did in this game and then say, okay, that's all right. I'll do the same thing Brett Favre did years ago when his leg was stiff. I'm a pocket passer anyway. I'll beat you from the pocket. And I think that's what Joe Burrow has over, a guy like Josh Allen, that Joe Burrow can literally just stay in the pocket and kill you. And to me, that's always going to be the most valuable quarterback, is the guy that can stay in the pocket. It's beautiful when you have mobility, and that's what Mahomes has. And that's what I love what I'm seeing from the Philly kid. The Philly kid is learning how, dude, he's learning how to pass.
Yeah.
That's where he's killing you.
He's so improved as a passer.
Right. Where Lamar Jackson has not made those strides, and he's been longer in the league. And Justin Fields is still too green. I love his moxie, but he still doesn't have that accuracy. And to me, that's what you have to be. You have to be Russell Wilson. You have to be Pat Mahomes with the mobility thing. But you have to be able to win from the pocket at all times. And to me, that's Josh Allen's problem right now, that he really can't live in the pocket and beat you because he'll have those erratic throws in every game that he still has them no matter what. They're not as often as they used to be in his early years, but they still happen because he's still not pinpoint consistent like Joe Burrow is and Pat Mahomes.
So I have three things to say. I'm going to make a statement about Josh Allen, and I'm going to give you two takes because it is, what is this, Tuesday at 10:45. And so I'm feeling like giving a mild take and something that may be a heavy take. So first, Josh Allen, I believe there's an interesting question this offseason about if there needs to be somebody that puts more pressure on him. Because Brian Daboll was very good at being critical of him, getting elements out of him that I don't know they've got out of him this year. He has the Superman tendency. He loves to put the cape on. And when you get Superman Josh Allen, you get either 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, or you get 400 yards and 4 interceptions. It's not a lot of balance there. He's going to put the game on his back, and he's either going to win it or lose it based on the flow of the game. And too much of quarterback play has to be your consistency, your trustworthiness. And I don't know if he ever will be a player that you can trust to not make that mistake. That's something that I think the Bills are going to have to figure out this offseason. Now for my two takes. One's a milder take that I think some people will agree with. I think that the media has been building up this Josh Allen-Mahomes rivalry as this was going to be the next Manning-Brady, when in reality, I think it's Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
I think that is the rivalry. That's going to be the rivalry that defines our generation. Maybe Josh Allen becomes the Ben Roethlisberger or the Phillip Rivers, where he's one of the good guys, the great guys, but he is not the two that define the franchise like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady did. You can say whoever is whoever, but I think Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are the guys of this generation. And the cool part is I think Mahomes, who's the more talented guy and the better quarterback, is 0-3 against Burrow in the last 13 months. And so there's a fun rivalry there that's building that I don't know if the rest of the media landscape is caught up on, but I love it and I can't wait to see it on Sunday. My second take, and I love Joe Burrow, but I'm seeing some of the conversations on sports talk shows this morning, and it reminds me of what I mentioned on social media like a month ago, and I got a lot of backlash. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most underrated player in football. And people's reaction is, how could the MVP be the most underrated player? I think we get so spoiled about Patrick Mahomes. We get so complacent about him because we've seen it. Yes, he's Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so what? And my take about that is we forget just how much he can do. You mentioned his mobility. You mentioned his ability to pass, his ability to win. He's doing all this without – we've seen what Tyreek Hill can do. He's doing all this without Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster is his number one wide receiver. Obviously, he has Travis Kelce. But outside of Travis Kelce, there's no one there that scares defenses, and he's having one of the best seasons of this decade.
Although I love the Florida kid that they got from the Giants.
Kadarius Toney, when he's on the field,
if that kid stays healthy,
yes.
If that kid stays healthy and screws his head on right, Kadarius Toney is a star in the making, bro.
Yes, he can certainly be, but let's be real. The Chiefs have not felt much of that this year. They felt it in really small spurts, and that's why you're saying that, because you see the potential. But it hasn't really been a huge impact on their offense this year.
No.
He hasn't been on the field. And so I just think that we underestimate and we really take for granted Patrick Mahomes.
I agree.
This dude is the best quarterback that, and I want to put in perspective that I've only covered the league for 8 years now. But Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've seen with my eyes in the 8 years I've covered this league.
You're rotating receivers in and out like you did with Brady.
Yep.
But you are keeping the steady tight end like you did with Brady.
You are, and Andy Reid's a heck of a coach.
You're rotating running backs like you did with Brady.
Yes.
So there's a lot of Brady-esque in what you're talking, and that shows his value, that when you keep changing, the chess pieces around, but yet you're still winning the game, then that's all you need to know about who the hell Patrick Mahomes is. So I think you're 1,000% right on that.
Right. And 5 straight AFC championship games. Now, he will have to get more Super Bowl titles to ultimately be in that GOAT talk. But I think, I believe by the end of and maybe this is taking this too far, but like I said, it's Tuesday at 10:45, 10:50, and I got takes to get off. I believe by the time Mahomes' career is done, there will be a conversation about Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes like there is with LeBron and Michael Jordan about who the greatest of all time is. And I don't think it may not be fully clear. There's always going to be some people who will argue, hey, my GOAT is Tom Brady or my GOAT is Patrick Mahomes. But I think that he will have done enough that it's a legitimate argument, and you can't blame whoever says who their GOAT is. Yeah. That's how much I think of Patrick Mahomes.
I'm with you. I have no problem with that when we talk about Mahomes that way. And by the way, do you have the Bengals or the Chiefs winning? Because I picked the Bengals this week against the Bills. Okay, straight up money line and the points. So I had the Bengals winning the game. I would have picked the Bengals against Kansas City this week with a healthy Mahomes. They own Kansas City. Now with a gimpy Mahomes, which I think he's going to be really gimpy this week, because I think that ankle, he was on all adrenaline this week. I'm going Bengals. How about you?
So as much as I just said about Patrick Mahomes and how great he is, I've covered 3 1/4 Bengals games. I'll call the Bills-Bengals cancel game a quarter game. I've covered 4 Chiefs games now, and I've covered 3 1/4 Bills games. The Bengals are the best team I've seen in the AFC this year. And I said that. I said it publicly, and I think the Bengals win on Sunday. I think they're the best team in the AFC, and I don't know why they haven't got more respect, but I think they show on Sunday, and I think they make it back to the Super Bowl again.
All right, I like it. By the way, I just got this produced by John Varavos and Greg Williamson. Love Rocks, New York City, the Beacon Theater. James Taylor, John Mayer, Sheryl Crow, Gary Clark Jr., Pat Benatar, Mavis Staples, St. Vincent, Jim James, Rufus Wainwright, Stephen Marley, Allison Russell, The War and Treaty, and Bernie Williams, all performing. That is one hell of a lineup there, bro.
Strong.
Damn.
That's strong.
That's crazy, man. What do you got? You got anything special you're going to do over the next couple of weeks? Shows?
I will be at the Pro Bowl next week, so I'll spend a week in Vegas. And so we'll have to figure out, I think we did this last year. We'll have to figure out what times we're going to do for the show because I don't know if I want to wake up at 6 a.m. Vegas time and do
by the way, I'm in Mobile next week.
Okay. All right. So you're at least in Central Time. So we're at least a little closer to what it is. But yeah, I got Pro Bowl all next week. So I'm heading to Vegas on Monday. I'll be there through the week. I don't have a game this week, and so I'll be a fan like you guys. I'll be at the crib and I'll have a few drinks and see who's going to the Super Bowl. And so that'll be my next 2 weeks.
All right. What happens with defensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins? What are you hearing, bro?
Yeah, so they're waiting just like everyone for Vic Fangio to make a decision. I think that he's the guy, from what I understand, that they would love to go get. But Vic has a lot of options, and so
come on,
Vic has a lot of options.
Is Vic really coming here?
That's why I said he has a lot of options. I can't tell you that he's coming here. I don't know. Like
I think Miami's like his fourth option, dude.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what his hierarchy is. I do know the Dolphins have a lot of interest in him. That being said, a lot of people have a lot of interest in him. I think one thing to watch for Vic Fangio is if Jonathan Gannon, the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator, ends up getting one of those gigs, particularly in Houston. I think that's where he's a top candidate there. Then Vic Fangio is a top candidate to stay in Philadelphia as their defensive coordinator. He's been a consultant with the Eagles this year, and he also has family from that area. And so
he inherits a hell of a defense.
Exactly. That had 70 sacks this year. So to me, that's going to be, if Dolphins fans are watching a search, that may be one to watch because it may be hard for him to turn down that Eagles gig if it becomes open. Now, if it's not open, it doesn't matter. And then also the Sean Payton situation. He obviously has a relationship with Sean. And so if Sean doesn't go to Denver, because obviously Vic was the head coach at
going to Denver.
Then obviously Sean Payton would be a heavy candidate to grab Vic Fangio as well. But I will say if they don't get Vic, look at some of the Denver San Fran disciples that they're interviewing. Sean Desai is one of them. I do think that they probably, although I think Anthony Campanelli is a great a great energy guy, a great guy inside the building. I do think more likely than not, they bring in an outside guy that's from one of those schemes to run this defense.
Let me throw it out. I threw it out yesterday on Twitter. This is what I think is happening. I think Sean Payton is going to Carolina. Okay. I think Houston is the backup plan. Okay. I think Arizona and Denver are no targets for him whatsoever because he doesn't want the headache of trying to resurrect Russell Wilson or dealing with an immature Kyler Murray. Okay. Houston has $40 million in cap space. They have the 2nd and 12th picks in the draft. They have, I believe it's 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Panthers have already a defense set. They've got enough talent on defense that's really sexy. They've got the 9th pick in the draft and the 39th. They're going to have to give up some compensation in order to acquire Sean Payton. So he will have less draft capital in Carolina than he will in Houston. But I think he's using Denver and the Walmart money as the leverage because obviously that guy's got more money than God. But David Tepper, who owns Carolina, is worth $18 billion himself.
Yeah.
So you use
and he's not afraid to make big splashes. We saw that with Matt Rule.
Right. So you use Walmart to give you the 20 to 25 million you want per year. And then that forces Houston and Carolina to play ball. And Carolina will probably want him so badly that they'll pay because they did already with Matt Rule, like you just said. Tepper's got money. I don't think he wants to go to those two because of that. I think he wants to go to Carolina or Houston. And then I think Fangio goes with him because he's not going to Miami because it's not for nothing. But let me just use common sense out there, please, Dolphin Nation. Don't get mad at me. Fangio has to look at it from Fangio's point of view. Well, I'm going down to Miami. Are they going to survive for the next couple of years? I'm not so sure. But Sean Payton getting a new contract at 20 to 25 million, they're not firing him for years to come. I'm 64. I can write my ticket under Payton for a few years, and I can retire wherever I want. Option 2, the kid leaves in Philadelphia. I'll take over a championship caliber team and championship caliber defense. So for Dolphin fans, if you put yourself in your objective and you put yourself in Fangio's shoes, why would you go to Miami, bro? Why?
It is warm here. It's warm
enough. It's warm enough in Carolina, and it's warm enough in Houston, and they got plenty of money, and they got cap space, and they got all that, and if he goes with Sean Payton, he has job security for
right. No, I understand, and these are a lot of reasons why. Like I said, I'm not sure if he ends up choosing this place. Yeah. Steve Ross has big pockets too, but there's a lot of dilemmas.
That's not the point right now.
There's a lot of elements there. 2 things I want to leave you with, and I'm gonna go get a workout in.
Go ahead.
On this Sean Payton thing, this is one of the more interesting cycles that we've been following. There's still not a guarantee that Sean Payton leaves television. He's doing a lot of these interviews, and he doesn't get what he wants. He doesn't find the team that he wants. There's no guarantee that he leaves. So that's something to watch in that respect. It's not like, it's Carolina or Houston. It's Carolina or Houston or TV, or Carolina, Houston, Denver, or TV. So that's a part of it that they're competing with as well. And he lives in the LA area. And so I think if the Chargers job would have opened up, he would have been jumping hands and fists over that, because sometimes you underestimate how much people want to live next to where they want to live, And so the other element of that, and you mentioned Carolina, what I'm interested to see is if for whatever reason Carolina becomes the team, the favorite to land Sean Payton, how much of a NFC South tax does New Orleans put on that? Because you remember that's a division team. And so you're trading your coach who retired on you to a division rival. Maybe that first round and the third round pick becomes 2 first round picks and a third round pick as far as compensation I need to trade you to a division rival. And does that nix a deal? Does that have any impact there? I think that's going to be a interesting element to watch, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So a lot of fray in the land.
Hold on a second. Will, were the Dolphins and the Colts in the same division when they got Shula? Dolphins and Colts were in the same division when they got Shula,
right?
Were the Knicks?
Colts will still do that deal.
Were the Knicks and the Heat in the same division when they got Riley?
Were they?
I don't know.
Well, they were in the same conference, but I don't. Maybe the same. Were they the same division?
I think they might have even been in the same division. I think
maybe.
I think the Knicks and the Heat were in the same division when they traded for Riley.
Well, I will say on the Shula part,
I'm just trying to come up with.
You're bringing up a good point. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that there may be an.
When you're on with an old fart that's been around.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it can be done. I'm just saying there's probably going to be extra tax if there is.
Yeah.
And if you remember with Shula,
that's why Houston is sexy to me, second place to him than Carolina, because Houston's got more picks.
Right.
They have the 2nd and the 12th pick. So you could actually either give them the 12th or give them the 24th, 2024 first rounder instead, or whatever. But Houston has more picks and they have $40 million of cap space. They already have a left tackle in place. So if he can get a quarterback, he's already got the guy that's going to protect his blind side at least right away. So there are elements there where, and I know he's going to have to probably boot out Nick Caserio or whatever, but there are elements there that he can go in Houston, and they got plenty of money too. That's also a deep pocket owner. So that's why I find Houston sexy, because Houston can survive the trade and still have, draft capital to be effective, is my point.
Interesting. It's interesting. Interesting dynamics.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be fun to watch.
All right. What do you got going on the NFL Network before we let you go?
So this week, I don't have anything on my schedule as of this week. I'm hanging with the wife and doing a bunch of errands. So they gave me a few days. And so we'll see if something pops up in one of these coaching searches, they may throw me on TV. But for the rest of the week, I'm getting ready to go to Vegas next week for the Pro Bowl and, doing some work from the house. And so.
All right. So next week, it'll be fun. Our segment, I'll be in Mobile getting some info. You'll be in Vegas getting some info.
Absolutely.
That's why they tune into this platform.
That's why they do it,
All right, baby. I appreciate you, man. Be safe. Enjoy the family. Thank you for taking some time.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
You got it. There you go. Cam Wolfe, baby. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, it's hour number 2, baby, coming to you live from Cutter's Edge Pro. Go to the website, cuttersedgepro.com. We are in Davie, servicing all of South Florida. So wherever you live, in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, we can take care of you like they've taken care of us. Go to our Twitter page, by the way, at Big O Show, our Instagram page at Big O Radio Show, or you can also go to the Cutter's Edge Pro Instagram page too. But on our page, we have certain examples there, and one of them is of our home and the incredible work that they did at our home. And Mike is the man that designs it all. So when you go actually on there, this is the man that has like all the thoughts in his mind. Do you sleep constantly? And hello, Mike. Do you sleep constantly just thinking of lawn designs? Is that your thing?
Well, the secret is not to sleep, I think. I'm joking. So
that's the rest of us. We lie in bed, we're tired, and yet we're all thinking about what we're going to do the next day, what we got to do. And before we know it, it's like 4 a.m. It's like, man, I haven't gone to sleep yet.
That's true. But no, we do a lot of different things. We always enjoy talking about design and working with you and working with all your listeners here and putting together something that's going to make their little piece of paradise even better.
Yeah, well, listen, one of the things that you guys obviously gave me the idea of the artificial turf. And one of the things that I think people don't understand, and by the way, I've talked about this over and over again, because if you have dogs, artificial turf is the best. All right, because one, it's the easiest thing to maintain. You're not watering it. You're not cutting the lawn every 10 to 14 days. So you're going to save hundreds and thousands of dollars in the long run. But again, the convenience of it, the dogs don't bring anything in. When you go out to your backyard and you come back in, you're not going to bring anything in. So your wife or your better half is not going to get mad that you're dirtying up the house. But what I explain to folks, the work that goes into it and the benefits of it all for the animals and everybody else.
Absolutely. So the great thing about synthetic turf is it's easy. At the end of the day, I love working on plants and dealing with plants and all that different stuff, and grew up with this. But on Saturday or Sunday, when I have free time, the last thing I really want to do is spend my weekends being a slave to my house. So the great thing about synthetic turf is it's easy. It always looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And particularly with animals, I've got a couple little dogs at home. They're going to do their thing, and it doesn't become gross and disgusting with all the things that happens with dogs. And like you said, happy wife, happy life. It's important. You don't want to track that dirt in the house. You don't want to have them walking through whatever debris in the yard and having it all over and having that kind of odor on things.
And by the way, when they set the artificial turf, because there are other places that may do it, and then there's still weeds and grass that grow through it. The layers of padded concrete that I think it's called, what is it called, that you guys put underneath, that you make sure it kills anything and everything underneath.
Well, anything is all about the foundation. So what we do is we take the extra step, and we want to make sure that we're putting in quality. There's a lot of different things out there. I mean, let's face it, we live in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Broward, where anything flies. But at the end of the day, at my house, I want to have a good quality product. And that's one of the things that we're big on. Do it right the first time, put it in, make sure it's going to be a long-term fit for your space, whatever that is. So the process is involved. What we do is we actually come in and we'll dig out a significant amount of soil in the area that we're installing the turf, and we come in and put it in a crushed concrete.
Right.
And that gets compacted to the point that it'll allow water to percolate down into the ground, but it's a nice firm base for that beautiful synthetic turf. The beauty of it is you can do anything from different tones of grass to we've got the Big O greens down at Big O's house, which is quite beautiful. You've got the opportunity to put in a putting green or do that sort of thing. And for pets, which is important, if they're going out there and making a little pee-pee or poo-poo. I don't know how to say it delicately.
Yeah.
It's not gross at the end of the day. And
No, it's not.
It does its thing, and it makes it easy to take care of. You can put a lawn chair out there and sit in the lawn. And if you leave that chair or table out there in the grass, it doesn't turn brown and die.
Right.
And, we've got a lot of different types of weather patterns. So in the summer, it's really, really hot. It looks great. In the winter, it's a little bit cooler. We've had some cold weather recently or lots of rain. It looks great. And it's just a really great product to have. And it looks so natural these days that why not have the best?
Right. No, I'm with you. And by the way, it drains exceptionally. That's the other thing that I've noticed. And we've had some days where we've had some brutal rain down here, and it drains quickly. So that's the other thing that you guys do. The way you pack it in, but at the same time, it drains quickly, so there is no puddles or anything like that. I like that. It's pretty cool.
It's funny you mentioned that. So, I mean, we do this day to day. So making sure that we're getting proper drainage, I can't talk today, really kind of goes into the overall plan. So really at your house, you get a significant amount of rain and you don't want to have those puddles. It's muddy, it's gross. You don't want to have that standing water. So we want to make sure that we got good pitch, that water that we're getting in the summer months is going in the right direction and it's not standing anywhere in the yard. So that all goes into the overall design of things and how that water is moved and how it relates to the landscape. It all goes into the beginning stages. And so we want to come up with a good plan and then implement it and go through and make sure that our team is following those different things, and we've got benchmarks, and then ultimately having a beautiful product.
And by the way, he won't say it because it's something that nobody will know unless we tell you, like I'm going to do right now. When they've set the turf, right, and we have all kinds of trees in the back and a beautiful Sylvester palm in the middle, right? But it's all where when it drains, it's draining towards the trees and the flowers and everything. So actually, not only does it go through the synthetic turf, but then the water heads down towards all of the foliage or whatever you want to call it, all that stuff. And so that's also, it's part design, it's part engineering, and then it's just absolutely beautiful too at the same time. So
we're going to make a landscaper out of you before this is all said and
done. You guys have already. Between Will and you guys educate me and the wife, and we're able to kind of, keep it up and make it look good and all that good stuff. In fact, you guys were impressed when you came by to, like touch it up 3 months later. Like, hey man, it looks good. You guys been keeping it up, and it's just one of those things. It's inspiring. Once you have it, you want to make sure you maintain it and keep it. You know what I mean? And plus, let me tell you, we're at the entrance of the cul-de-sac. We have gotten compliments from everybody in the cul-de-sac. I think it's like 58 homes or whatever it is. There hasn't been one person that hasn't stopped. Hey, by the way, wow, because it's the first house when you come into the cul-de-sac. So it's kind of like a good look for the rest of the neighborhood. So they're kind of inspired.
I mean, that's a great compliment. We certainly appreciate it. And, it looks great. And it was really a pleasure working with you. You gave us a lot of freedom on the design and the overall aspect. But at the end of the day, it really looks great. And by the way, you did get an A+ for keeping up with it. So good for you.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
But at the end of the day, like you said, if it's set up to be easy.
Well, you did. You guys set it up to be easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the best part is, let me tell you, folks, once you redo your yard, right, and you get all the new stuff in, and then you start watching it grow. That's the other thing, because everything was put in, in its early stages. Now, what are those things called that the
flowers?
No, well, there are flowers that are coming out of it. But those the skinny little green ones, what are they called? That they have the flowers. Now they're coming out with all those flowers. Now, what are they called?
So I always say this: if there was ever a game show where they describe the plant like you did, and then you're able to guess what that plant is and win money, I am the champ.
Oh, so for sure.
What he's talking about is blue flag iris. So it's a beautiful plant. It kind of looks like a marginal plant, something you'd see next to a pond or meadow, but it has this spectacular blue flower on it. It's a really unique plant, and they stand up like little soldiers. And the neat thing on this project is we put it in and it was just green. So there was a nice surprise a few weeks later when they started blooming out with a spectacular flower and seeing all these different things. And I agree, watching a landscape grow and really turn into whatever the end game is is really a unique process, and it's always changing and keeping up with it. So we appreciate that you're taking time to smell the flowers, so to speak.
Yeah, and Sean, check your email there. I have sent you. We're gonna show it off because my wife, of course, was taking pictures of it, and so I am sending you 2 pics there, so you can bring it up here for me and Mike and check it out because I think it's really really cool. And again, happy wife, happy life. So not only does it look great, but then when the flowers start coming out, and those flowers are beautiful, by the way, they look really cool. We're going to show it to you now, the plant and the flower, and you'll see it. Actually, it's a good picture because it's where the artificial turf meets, where that goes, and the flower, and we'll bring that up. But that's actually good. Tell the folks how they can get in contact with us here at Cutter's Edge Pro.
Well, you can always go on our website at cuttersedgepro.com. You can reach out to the office. We'd be happy to come out and take a look at things. We do full service from tree work to landscaping and everything in between. We've got a team of really skilled professionals to come in and make this a seamless event for you. So if you're not sure where to start, get on our website, shoot us an email or give a call to the office. We'd be happy to help you and make you look like a rock star, like Big O and his residence.
Yeah, you can even have your own putting green if you're a golfer, and you can get, because we have the artificial turf for the dogs, and then we have a whole bunch of trees and all kinds of stuff it really cools down the backyard too, because that Sylvester palm is big and beautiful, man. And by the way, go to Cutter's Edge Pro on Instagram. And you can also find out there, get an idea. Maybe you don't know exactly what you want to do, but there's like hundreds of examples there practically. So you can go through all of them there, and then you can kind of get an idea. Oh, I would like to do this. I would like to do that. And then, of course, the designer then goes over and then really gets it all done. All right.
We're happy to come out and take a look at any space and put together something and really look at the overall stuff. Even when we started your project, we had some trees that we had to remove. So really soup to nuts, we can help you with that whole process and really lay out something that's going to be a fit for you and what your space is.
By the way, one more thing that I got to bring up, because this is going to happen if you call some landscaping companies out there, okay? And I'm not here to diss other landscaping companies, but I've noticed it because now that I see the work that Cutter's Edge Pro has done for us, like I've seen some other Sylvester trees out there, and they're like this thick, okay? And the one they planted in mine is, I don't know, something like this. I mean, it is a big ass tree already. It might have been even thicker than that, actually. And right from the get-go, look, those are the flowers right there. Show the second one, which it's growing from the ground there, but that's look at that flower, man.
It's spectacular. It looks like a painting, and it's. I know we're talking.
That's the one that's leaning out onto the artificial turf. That's the artificial turf there, and I know Sean's going to bring up the other picture where here we go. He will, and the other picture will show the entire flower, and then you'll see the thing there. But anyway, the quality of the see, there you go. See, there's the picture right there, coming from where it grows to leaning over to the artificial turf. And look at that artificial turf, man. It looks like that all the time. Like all the time. Okay? I never used to open the back door of my shades from my back door, the sliding glass door. Now I keep it open because it's so beautiful to look outside. But again, the quality of the trees that you guys use too. Talk a little bit about that.
So we have we've got a great team. So we have a purchasing department that really sources stuff throughout the state. I mean, we purchase stuff from, Central Florida, South Florida. There's a lot of different things that are out there, even out of state. So there's really no tree or plant that if it's available commercially, we can get it. And, if you're going to put something in and you're going to do it once and it's going to be there for a lifetime, why not put in something that's quality? So even that palm tree that we put in the back, we wanted to make sure that it was something that you're only going to do it once. So why not take that extra step to make sure that it's there? Then it even gets into the health of the tree and where it starts to make sure that it's not going to shock or die. That's certainly not a good place to be. And we're really looking at long-term stuff. So a tree it's a lifetime. And you want everybody to enjoy it now, but the next generation or the next person that comes into it to be able to enjoy it. So it's a great thing to, to drive around South Florida and say, hey, we planted that tree there, or that we did that tree, and to watch it grow and establish. It's a really nice feeling to be part of that.
And by the way, when you do call Cutter's Edge Pro for any of your homes or businesses or condos, Sylvester palms are the bomb. Just want you to know that. Just get the Sylvester palm. It's the bomb. Mikey, much love, my brother. I appreciate you immensely.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate what you guys do. Thanks so much for having me on, and you guys have a great day.
Pleasure, man. Appreciate you, Mikey. There you go. CuttersEdgePro.com is the website. Go to the Instagram page, and you can reach Mike. You can reach Will. Of course, they will take care of you, man, and tell them that we sent you. And I promise you that your better half will be very happy after the work that they're done with, man. Your home, your business is going to go to the other level. And by the way, also increases in value too, immediately when you add landscaping. Knight sends in a super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, do you think Tua physically makes the Pro Bowl? Yeah, I think there's a chance he makes a Pro Bowl because usually somebody steps down or something like that. So I could see him making it. But remember, it's not a game anymore. It's like a skills competition or something, right? Oh, that's right. That's right. One of those guys is going to make it. That's right. Yeah, so he's automatic to make it. Yeah, because Mahomes or Burrow will not be there. Actually, Burrow will not be there. Okay. Oh, by the way, Mahomes won't be either. He's got an ankle injury. So for sure, Tua's in. How about that? Okay. Either Burrow be too pissed off that he didn't make it, so he's not going. And then and he'll come up with my shoulder hurts or something. I'm not going out there to do some skills competition or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think so, but yeah, he should be in there. How do you maintain it? What are you asking, Darren Lee? What the turf? Brother, you don't have to do anything practically to maintain that turf. Okay? It looks beautiful. That's it. That's all. You know how you don't maintain it? You know how you maintain it? Don't set it on fire. That's how you do it. Seriously, you don't have to do anything. That's all. Now, you can have some maintenance once a year to kind of, they obviously the folks here at Cutter's Edge Pro, they can obviously treat it for you and all that kind of stuff. Although, you know what? I wait a minute, I'm wrong. You do actually have a spray that you treat because, the dogs do their business, right? So there's a treatment that you can do once a month at least on your grass. And then that way it kind of kills any of the bacteria that could be there from them, peeing. But remember, in South Florida, it rains so much that it actually gets to drain, constantly. But there is a thing that you can treat it once a month, and it's not a big deal. It takes a couple minutes. That's about it. Outside of that, there's really nothing else that you have to do overall. It's pretty amazing. It's a lot easier and comfortable for an owner compared to grass that you're constantly cutting, you're constantly watering, you're pulling out weeds. They're kicking up dirt and mud because obviously if you have here's the other thing the artificial turf does. The dogs won't be kicking up dirt and mud and all that kind of stuff like like my big dogs do after they go to the bathroom. She would kick up stuff and all that, but the artificial turf feels different to them, so they don't do it to the artificial turf. So then again, your grass doesn't get destroyed. They don't put dirt into their nails and their paws, and then they go into your house, because they're on the artificial turf. It's really cool, and it's cool. There's a little sand that they put inside the artificial turf, and it lowers the heat to half of what it normally would be out there. So it's always cool enough for the dogs. I'm telling you, I live it every day. I watch it every day. It's easy to maintain, and the dogs love it, man. Absolutely love it. Big O, who do you think is in a worse spot football-wise, the Canes or the Dolphins? Actually, I'm not even going to look at it that way. I think they're both in a terrific spot. I think a couple of years ago, you were in a bad spot because you didn't have the coaches, and I don't think you had the talent. Now I think you have the talent, and I think now you have the coaches. It's just a matter of kind of putting it all together now. So I wouldn't even look at who's got it worse or anything like that. I just told you when I started the show that I'm excited already about the season and the Dolphins season. So there's no way that I could look at that. I'm more concerned about the Panthers, dude. Like, is Paul Maurice the guy? You know, it's almost like his press conferences are turning into excuses constantly. You know, I'm more worried about that. I'm more worried about, can the Heat find another star? Do they have the capital in order to make that happen? I'm more concerned about that. I'm not really. I feel good about the Dolphins and the Canes. You know, it's just a matter of hopefully with the Dolphins, they're closer to having more success than the Canes, but they're both headed down the right path, and that's what I like. If the Dolphins get some luck next year, they can make a hell of a lot of noise in the season and in the playoffs. And the Canes, obviously, they're still young, they're still recruiting, they're probably still a couple of years away from being impactful, like challenging, Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or those kind of teams. They're probably a couple of years away from that. But I don't think any of them is in a worst spot. I think they're both now headed in the right direction, which is something I couldn't say about the Dolphins or the Canes several years ago, a couple of years ago, hell. Let's see. What do you think of Hurts' growth this year, comparing him to Tua now? There is no comparison. Tua is a superior passer to Hurts. It's not even close. Hurts is now improving his passing and his accuracy. That's impressive, and Hurts with his running ability, that's awesome. But you see how he got hurt, right? He also got hurt because running quarterbacks will get hurt. But I don't. They cannot be compared. Tua's always been a good passer. It's just a matter of him getting adjusted to game speed on the NFL level, to adjust his passing and his anticipatory skills to this level, because the windows are smaller, the opportunities are shorter, so you have to think quicker and deliver the ball. And those are things that he had to, obviously, he has to learn, and he's already kind of adapted to that. But they are two completely different quarterbacks. Hurts wants to get where Tua is in accuracy. You know what I mean? But Tua will never get where Hurts is athletically, because that's not who he is. So Hurts has the ability of becoming one hell of a weapon, because if you're a weapon that can be accurate from the pocket and you have the athleticism, it's what we talked about before with Russell Wilson and with Pat Mahomes. You know what I mean? It's great to be those kind of guys that if you can beat people from the pocket and use your legs as a complementary piece, not necessarily the straw that stirs your drink, then I think you got a shot at being pretty special. So Jalen Hurts, he is well on his way, man. That is one dude that I give him a ton of credit for working on his accuracy. Pretty good stuff. What do we got? We got some news going on. Benjamin Albright, our buddy, says, from everything I've heard, it doesn't appear Sean Payton has much of a market. Jobs he wanted didn't open outside of Denver. We'll see about Arizona. There just hasn't been much interest. Strong possibility he goes back to TV. Wow. So they don't want to pay the 25 million? Thank you, Mike. You be good out there. Well, you know what it is, right? Compensation. What do the Saints want? And then you got to pay him. And maybe he's kind of comfortable with TV, and if he doesn't get his price, then he's not willing to, leave. That's interesting.
And also the one thing Cam said that was interesting because somebody had said it the other day, but I didn't think anything of it, is that Staley's contract is up at the end of this year.
Oh, San Diego. I mean,
Los
Chargers,
Angeles, the
yes.
Chargers. When he said it again, it brought it back to my head. Is if he is holding out, that would.
Yeah, but here's my problem with that. That's a cheap owner. Spanos is a cheap. Oh, you know they haven't started any contract negotiations at all with Herbert. Like, you don't have to start negotiations with Tua because you got questions because of the durability issues. You know what I mean? So those things are done. You can pick up his 5th-year option. But if you were relatively healthy like he's been, and you've put up numbers, results aren't necessarily there, but you put up numbers, well, then you should be already getting ready to pay him. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what you want to do in that situation. See, my problem with the Chargers would have to then, I don't see, here's the part I don't know. Do the Saints still own his rights next offseason? Or does his contract expire and so does the rights? So they don't. So then, because if the Chargers have to give compensation of picks and pay 20 to 25 million, Spanos? No, dude. No. I just don't see Dean Spanos doing that. I mean, dude, if you have money, Brandon Staley's not good enough that you could blow him out for the last year that he's left. Like real NFL owners that have money, they'll get rid of a coach that they need to get rid of with a year left. That's nothing to them. In this league, they pay 2-3 years. He's got 2 more years left.
It expires after the 2024 season.
Oh, so yeah. There's no way the Chargers pay compensation in the draft and a 20 to 25 million a year. Dean Spanos then has to also pay for a coaching staff. You think Vic Fangio's coming cheap? Yeah, no. I don't believe that. But I'm kind of shocked that Albright's reporting that there isn't that much of a market for him. Maybe he's pricing himself out. Right? And again, you also have to give up compensation. All right, we're ready for Manny. Let's go, baby. Let's talk a little Canes with Manny Navarro next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling great. Oh, how are you?
I cannot complain, my brother. Somebody was asking me, who's in worse shape, the Dolphins or the Canes? And I was like, I don't think any of them are in worse shape. I think they're both in terrific shape. I think the Canes are headed in the right direction. I think the Dolphins are headed in the right direction too. They need a little luck, overall. But I feel good about where both programs are compared to where they were a few years back.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just at the start of something new, right? I mean, both of them are in the same sort of position. You hope that year two they take a step forward with their new coaches, and the Dolphins, quarterback health, that's the main thing. They need Tua to be healthy. If he's not, then that becomes a bigger problem. But I think right now, the Canes, I mean, you're coming off a 5-7 season. There's nowhere to go but up. So
yeah. All right, let me ask you something that isn't Canes related, but it's Canes related.
Sure.
Ed Reed.
Yeah.
What the hell happened at Bethune-Cookman, dude?
Yeah, it's a crazy story, right? I mean, it looked like he had a lot of people who were ready to start investing some money and some resources to help him turn things around there. But Ed is a very fiery guy who likes to get on social media, and those two things aren't good in today's day and age. Oh, and unfortunately, he went on a couple of rants, ripping the university for not having his office clean, among other things, not having people around to do the job that needed to be done. With the fields and so forth, and so he was angry, and ultimately, when you're dealing with people in administrations, some people can take criticism, some people can't. And the people, I think, at Bethune-Cookman weren't ready to hear a guy like Ed Reed be Ed Reed. And it's their loss in the end, because I think he would have been a guy who came in and at least positively influenced change at that university. They're 2-9 program back-to-back years. Uh, most of these HBCUs are lifeless unless you get a guy like Deion Sanders to come in there to help turn things around. And I think that was their best bet. And Ed, unfortunately, talked a little bit too much, and that set some people off in power in the wrong direction, and they basically flipped it on him. And so now we'll see where he ends up. I don't know if Ed gets an opportunity somewhere else. I hope he does. I think he could be a positive influence at a number of HBCUs and FCS type programs. And I don't see the problem with that. And especially, I think what we learned with Deion Sanders is, if you've got a guy who's motivated, who wants to make change, and he's bringing some money with him, that's probably the best thing for your school.
So let me ask you, why wasn't all this stuff talked about before you actually took the job?
You would think so, right? You would assume so, that these things are discussed. But I guess, in the time that he was there working unofficially, right, where he didn't have a contract and he was sort of feeling his way through the process, there were things that he saw that he didn't like, and he voiced his opinion on it, and it became a power struggle. And at that point, BCU's administration basically decided, we're not giving in to this guy. We don't care that he's a Hall of Famer. And in today's age, again, it's how much do you want to win, right? Like, how much does your program really want to change things? I think Bethune-Cookman's administration was probably excited about Ed Reed at first, and then when they realized, hey, he's gonna go on social media and say things that we probably don't want him to say, they had a little bit of buyer's remorse, and that's all that happened.
That is crazy, dude. I mean, wow, that it just this thing exploded, and you got the IG going live and all this stuff, and you're like watching this happen, and in real time, and you're like, what the hell is going on over? And see, here's the thing, and this is kind of the, I don't know, this is the monster that a lot of these programs are dealing with. It's not just HCBUs, but FIU and FAU right here, just right next to our house, right here in our backyard, Florida Memorial. You want to have a football program, man, that costs a lot of money.
Yep.
And if you want to make money in college football, well, then you're going to have to spend a lot of money on the front end of all of this, to wait for the back end for it to pay off. And sometimes I think that these schools, they say they want to do it until they actually realize what it takes to actually look at FIU and FAU. They have some of the best alumni bases anywhere in the southern part of Florida. They have every opportunity that if they ever became a power, they would have big ass fan bases that could support them. But they have never made that fiscal commitment that you need in order to get over the hump. And I wonder sometimes that, what happened at Jackson State kind of, I don't know, misleads others like Bethune-Cookman, thinking, well, maybe we can do the same thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't think you're ready to really spend the kind of money that it takes to do this.
No, it's a serious investment. And, I'll tell you, from just covering the University of Miami, the way that program is operated as the poor little private school, right? They didn't have any money. They couldn't afford paying high-priced coaches, et cetera, for many, many years.
Yep.
It ultimately took the administration to be in the black, not in the red, and then to have guys like Rudy Fernandez and others that said, no, we really want this football thing. We need it to be successful. That's our brand, right? Like that's one of our 3 main pillars at the University of Miami. It's football. And so unless you have alignment between the president, the people who spend the money, the donors, and then the actual coach or the person who wants to be an agent of change at that particular school, you're not going to have success. And at places like FIU, where I graduated, and FAU and other places, where people go to school down here in South Florida, as much as we all love our universities, right, and where we attended school, in the end, we're not all billionaires. There's only a few of us that can financially support the change, right? And so I think it's the challenge at FIU and FAU and all these other places is finding the right coach, finding the right figurehead who's going to inspire that change, or who's going to get people behind them to say, we want to open up our wallets. And for Miami, it was getting Mario Cristobal. I don't think if they don't go out and get Mario Cristobal first, I don't think you see this influx of money being poured into the football program the way it is.
I'm with you there. Deion Sanders flipping Cormani. What happened? How did he flip him? Was it all money? That's it? That's
no,
all
it's not. It's not all money. I mean, I think the deals that he was going to get at Miami and potentially Florida or anywhere else where he ended up, I think those were going to be comparable. I think in today's age, the schools that these elite players are picking, they're all paying something. They're all investing some sizable amount of money to get these 5-star recruits. I think the issue here was Deion is a megastar, right? Like he's got his network on Amazon Prime. He's got his shows. He's got the little YouTube company who sits there and broadcasts everything that he does. I think Cormani McClain and his mom were enamored by that. And I think they're also enamored by the fact that he's a Hall of Fame cornerback. Look, I just attended this 7-on-7 tournament, this Battle Miami this past weekend. I talked to a lot of kids while I was there. And, from all over the country, I asked each of them, I said, well, has Deion reached out to you? Has Colorado? And all of their faces light up. Like, that's the cool guy to go play for. It really is. Like, he is it right now in college football. And a lot of these are 2024, 2025 kids. They can't make a decision for a while. But I'll tell you right now, they're all watching Colorado. They're all interested in Colorado. They're all excited by the fact of what it is that he's doing and the fact that he's on Amazon Prime, that they can watch. You can be a star online on a streaming service if you go play for Deion. People are going to pay attention to you. And if you think about it, that's one aspect that really a lot of these old school coaches, Mario Cristobal, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart over Georgia, they're not sitting there broadcasting their every move. They don't have videos up. And these kids nowadays love it. They want that attention. They want to be superstars every minute of the day.
All right. What's the latest on the recruiting side with the Canes?
Well, they got a couple guys that are on campus now. Schools registration finalizes Wednesday, so they've got 48 hours essentially to try to get a couple of transfers in if they want to get them. Tasheem Johnson is a former starting defensive back at Ole Miss, started 19 games while he was there. He's on campus. He tweeted out he was here in Miami taking an official visit. I think he previously visited Oregon. So Miami's pushing to get Tasheem Johnson. He'd be one of those replacements for Cormani McClain in the defensive backfield. And then yesterday, Terry Roberts, who I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago from Iowa, a 5th or 6th year player who's dealt with some injuries, but is excellent when he's healthy. He's actually enrolled in classes. He finally announced that he's here at Miami. So they got him at the DB position. And then there's one high school recruit that I think they're hosting this weekend, defensive lineman, 6'3", 320 pounds, Jamel Howard, out of Marist High School in Chicago. You know how Miami likes those Chicago defensive linemen. They've brought those guys in the past. So they got one of those kids here. He's a 3-star kid, kind of a leftover who didn't sign in December. Again, trying to beef up positions that they've made clear, that Mario's made clear that they're looking for more help. So again, slow drip, #slow drip with all of this stuff, because you can sign guys all the way up until August.
No, I know. Anything new on the offensive coordinator front?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we'll hear something at some point. Somebody else called me this morning and asked me why hasn't the Gaddis thing happened yet, and I said, well, maybe he just hasn't gotten a job yet. Again, when was the last time Mario fired anybody? I think they're all encouraged to go find other work. I think in this instance, Josh Gaddis is probably still looking.
Didn't Michigan just fire their co-offensive coordinator?
Yeah, they did, but I'm not sure that.
I was wondering when I saw that Michigan fired their co-offensive coordinator. Says, are they reopening the position for Josh Gaddis to go out there? I don't know. You know,
I'd be very surprised. The Athletic, Bruce Feldman, who I work with, did a story on Gaddis's time among other coaches at Michigan, and he wasn't the most well-liked character up there. So my guess is he wouldn't be back at Michigan. Maybe another Big Ten school, but I think ultimately I think this is about for him making the jump to the NFL, and well, the NFL season's still going on.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Any new Ruiz news?
Well, I know he has been discussing that. I think he's going to unveil his plans for his stadium at the Miami spring game. I haven't spoken to him about it. I know that he's put it out there on social media that he's going to unveil these plans at the spring game. I'm interested to see, what he shows us, what the stadium looks like, and then most importantly, which politicians are going to help him get this through in the city of Miami and approve it and get everything done.
I mean, Crazy Joe will help him. But here's the thing: that the part that I don't understand about all of this is, you hear that kind of distance themselves from all of this, yet he wants to build a stadium for the University of Miami, and yet have we heard about any contractual talks about breaking a lease over at Hard Rock Stadium?
Well,
and there's so many layers to this story than just building a stadium. And I get it, he could build a stadium. Obviously, he's got the money, he's got the power, and probably enough influence in town, just like I'm sure Moss or Mickey Arison have, to get their things done, just like Wayne had in Fort Lauderdale. So that part I'm not really worried about. You can always work around politics, you know what I'm saying? But it's just kind of interesting, the dynamics of the Hurricanes already have a home. They're under contract for a long time.
2032.
Yeah, it's like, there's more to talk about here. It's kind of weird.
I've said this on the show here many times. Miami likes where they're at. They like the location. They feel it's a very good central location to get fans from as far north as Palm Beach to come down and watch their games. If they build a stadium closer to campus, they don't think it's going to change the number of season ticket holders or or increase the size of their crowds.
Winning does.
Winning is they kind of know that winning has everything to do with this. And I think and you said something earlier that Ruiz wants to build them a stadium. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Ruiz wants to build a stadium and be the owner of it and have the University of Miami, among other people, play there. His dream is to build an entire sports facility beyond a football stadium over there at Tropical Park. And I think this is about him investing a lot of money so that he gets a profit and has a legacy here in the city of Miami. And, I've attended multiple events where Ruiz has been and spoken, and his dream is to own the Marlins, to own the Dolphins, to be a team owner. And I think building a stadium is step number one, probably, for all of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him owning the Marlins. What the hell? He'll spend at least. That's for sure.
That's right.
Although I got to give him credit. They did make a nice little trade there. Now, we'll see if they can re-sign him when he needs a new contract. All right, what do you got going on in The Athletic so folks can check you out and subscribe?
Yeah, I interviewed Andrew Ivins, who is a colleague of mine, a friend of mine who's been down here in South Florida for several years doing the recruiting and just talking about the whole process of how they select their 5-star recruits. And so I'm doing a series on 5 stars, including a review of the ones that played this past season. Miami, of course, signed a couple of 5 stars in this 2023 class. So Mario's starting to get some 5 stars back in Miami. But I'm fascinated by the whole recruiting and scouting aspect of it. And so my story, the one that just was posted this morning, is on that. I'll have another one the day after. I'll have a feature story on Julian Sayin, who's the quarterback for Team Raw, one of the 7-on-7 teams here out of South Florida, that John Ruiz has partnered with. Julian's committed to go play quarterback at Alabama. I spoke to him and his father a couple of weeks ago, so that story will finally be coming out sometime this week. A lot of stuff going on, man. I mean, I know it's the off season and we're like, what? Football season's over, but we got signing day next week. I have a mailbag. I have a bunch of different things coming out. So make sure you subscribe to The Athletic. And if not, check out the podcast as well, the Wide Right Podcast.
There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. As always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up later on in the week.
All right, take care, man.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro. Appreciate him. Don't forget, Caneswear, man, right in Davie, right down the street, right from where we're at here at Cutter's Edge Pro at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. They've got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it, man. I'm telling you, from sneakers to hats to they've got 70, 80, 100 different T-shirts of the Canes. They've got all kinds of things. They've got stuff with, they've got Inter Miami gear. They've got Miami Dolphins gear, Miami Heat. They even have some Miami Marlins gear, probably discounted. They've got all kinds of stuff out there, man. Go to 2511 South University Drive. And for those of you that live outside of the South Florida area, or, man, if you're in Palm Beach and Hope Sound, or you're in Homestead, you probably won't go to Davie, but you can get online at caneswear.com. And if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And Jeff and the boys ship it quickly, baby. They're getting it out to you right away. Go to caneswear.com and get it done.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Right, we're back. And Travis Radcliffe, I see you on the chat board. So I'm doing the interview and I look down and I see manhood. Give to an O-line, give to a coach, give to a wide receivers, give to a running backs. Why don't we give to the NFL Pro Bowl team in order to win? Enough already, get it done. Well, Travis, let me ask you something, dude. What did Joe Montana have? He had great receivers, great tight end, great running back, great line, great defense. You need greatness around you in order to win. Why do you think Marino didn't win, Travis? Because he didn't have the great running back, because he didn't have the great defense. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with an arm that couldn't throw past 10 yards. But why? Because he had a great defense, had a running game, decent line. He had a team that could help him, carry him. Why do you think Trent Dilfer wins? Because he had a generational defense and a generational running back and a hell of an offensive line and a Hall of Fame tight end. I'm not sure what some of you smoke. I'm not sure how many of you have a drinking problem, or maybe, Travis, maybe you're not very bright. But Terry Bradshaw had a gorgeous team, dude. Steel curtain, running backs, receivers, the Dallas Cowboys. Do you know why they don't win now compared to when they won in the 90s? Well, that's because they had Troy Aikman, and they had a line that half of them probably belong in the Hall of Fame. And they had a Hall of Fame running back, and they had a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Jay Novacek was a hell of a tight end. And, oh, by the way, I forgot. They had a great defense. I'm not sure, Travis, what kind of football you're watching, but the one I watch, you need great players in order to win. You don't get to the Super Bowl with a quarterback alone and win it. If that was the case, then John Elway would have won with Sammy Winder. But you win with Terrell Davis, you moron, not Sammy Winder. You win with Emmitt Smith, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you're Jimmy Johnson with the Miami Dolphins. That's the difference, Travis. Oh, no give two of this, no give two. You got to give every quarterback this, that. If not, they don't win. That's why they get there and they fall short, because they don't have enough. Pat Mahomes went a couple of years ago and could not get over the hump. You know what he got? He got buried like one of the trees they do here at Cutter's Edge Pro. You know, like I got two Sylvester palms in my home that they had to bury. That's exactly what they did to Mahomes' ass 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. Why, Travis? Because he didn't have an offensive line. The great Pat Mahomes didn't have an offensive line. Everybody's got it. You need it, bro. When the Dolphins won back in the 70s, hell, they won a Super Bowl where Greasy threw the ball 6 or 7 times. I forgot what number it was. 6 or 7. What was it? Was it 6 or 7? Right? It's 7? There you go. 7 times. Do you know why, Travis? Because he had 3 running backs. He had an offensive line that belongs in the Hall of Fame. He had a defense. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called the no-name defense. Everybody needs it, Travis. You don't win without anything. I'm not sure what kind of football your ass is watching, but clearly you need some education. Troy Ortiz says, does Burrow win in spire of a bad O-line? Could you, well, actually the O-line, no. Hold on a second. Did you watch the game? Was that a bad O-line the other day for Joe Burrow, or did they do the job? I think they did the job, right? They got it done. I didn't see Joe Burrow running for his life. So the line actually did. I know they had injuries, but let me tell you something. So the right tackle you started with the Miami Dolphins, you want that guy, or do you want the guy they found in the middle of the season? I think you want the guy that they found in the middle of the season, right? And he did a good job. Did they lose because Skyler was running for his life? No, actually. They did a serviceable job. So I'm not sure, bro. The line was fine. It was a concern. Listen, you're talking to the guy that picked the Bengals to win the game. Not just take the points. I said take the money line. I like the Bengals in this game. And I knew they had half their offensive line out. I mean, if you can coach, you can figure it out. What's that?
2-point favorites now. They went up half a point.
Who?
The Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals are up 2 points? Yeah, it makes sense. Mahomes is hobbled, man. It's not good. That's not good. And the Bengals defense is better than I ever thought it would be. Got to give them credit. But, of course, Travis, they don't, Joe Burrow doesn't need the best receiving corps in the NFL. And a Joe Mixon that, is a hell of a running back. And actually, Hunter is a pretty decent tight end too. Hunter Henry. He's a free agent. Could be a Miami Dolphin. Joe Burrow's Joe Cool, but he has help. Okay? Obviously, not only did they went and bought a bunch of offensive linemen, they lost some in injuries, but looks like they did a serviceable job as the backups too. Every quarterback needs help. No quarterback wins the Super Bowl, and you look at it and go, wow, he was playing with nothing. I'm sorry. That's not how it goes. This isn't, college basketball in the 90s, and here's Danny Manning all by his lonesome taking you to a title. That's not what we're talking about here. In football, it's a team game. And even the quarterback needs help. And if he doesn't have it, more often than not, he doesn't even win it. Let's see. Bengals O-line played well and the running game was on point. Yeah, man. They were fantastic. Jimmy says Tua, before his second or third concussion, was striking it up with 3 or 4 weeks versus the Niners, Chargers, and Packers. His throws were all over actually, he was fine in the Packers game, sir. He was lights out in the first half. It was the concussions in the second half, but, you can say whatever you want. The Niners and the Chargers were the games that were bad, okay? He was outstanding in the Buffalo game. They should have won that game. And he was fine in the Packers game until he got concussed. But, I mean, you can make it sound however you want and, whatever helps you sleep at night there, Darren. Or Jimmy, that is. Travis says he's waiting on an elite football team like at Alabama. That's it. Tua needs to stay healthy, and McDaniel needs to be a better game day coach. Well, we'll see. We shall see what we shall see. By the way, EJD Construction, a proud sponsor of our program for a long, long time now, and they've been helping a lot of our customers in Dade and Broward counties. 305-433-4843, and a lot of you are scrambling right now because your policy is about to run out and you need to renew your policy and you got to protect yourself for hurricane season coming up. And now your insurance companies are telling you, hey, your house is a certain amount of years and you need to bring your roof up to date now. It's got to be up to code now in order for us to renew your policy. So call EJD Construction. They can get that roof up to date. And by the way, you get it checked out at the same time. Make sure everything is all good. It's all kosher and ready to go. And let me tell you something. We're talking about a full contractor. We're not talking we're talking major home remodeling. We're not talking about a handyman. So whatever it is you need to do, you need to modernize that kitchen. You need to enlarge the home. You want to add a second floor. One of our listeners added an observation deck. Because I always tell you, custom home construction. And they called him and said, hey, can you build an observation deck? Sure enough, he built an observation deck on top of it's like the third floor of their home, actually, the observation deck, which again, super cool idea, I got to say. But you can do anything and everything. They do it all at ejdconstruction.com. 305-433-4843. Save it on that cell phone, 305-433-4843. Call Eric, that's his cell phone, and tell him that Big O sent you. ejdconstruction.com. Hour number 3 from cuttersedgepro.com is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We are back here at CuttersEdgePro.com, as always, out here in Davie. By the way, we'll be out here every couple of months, and of course, you can reach out to all of our friends out here at Cutters Edge Pro as Will is ready to join us. Is Will there we go. You got Will going, and Will, of course, is the owner of Cutters Edge Pro. He's a big-time Miami Dolphins fan. Got season tickets, goes to all the games. So how you feeling about the team going into the new season?
You know, I'm as you know, I'm an optimistic always, and there was a lot of great things the team did this year, and obviously there was a lot of opportunities they had. You know, there were some coaching opportunities. You got a young coach. Tua was learning a new offense throughout the year, and then you had the unfortunate injuries that they just had such bad luck. You hit it all the time. I mean, it was like, you know, that last game, you had the right tackle move. I mean, the right guard moved the right tackle. The left guard was a guy
Cotton.
Cotton was on a practice squad 2 weeks prior, not even on the Dolphins practice squad, and then he's starting in in a playoff game. So, you know, to think about what that offense was able to overcome, and I think the one thing we don't talk a lot of credit was the offensive line coach. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he did a phenomenal job all
Yeah.
year with the injuries they had.
Yeah. I mean, he had to adjust constantly. And the other thing, you're also converting Connor to center, who did a really, really good job overall. And then, you know, finding Brandon off the street and getting him in shape and putting him in there and all the way to the end until he hurt his leg. I hope they bring him back next year, actually, because I think it adds a lot of, whether he starts or it adds experience depth, that he could be a swing guy, although it looks like he excels more on the right side than he does on the left side. But yeah, I thought, I'm with you. I think the offensive line coach did a really, really good job last year overall, considering all the injuries. And listen, somehow or another, they still believe in Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg. So we'll see if those guys, the light goes on for them. And I felt bad for Austin because he was actually looking good in training camp in the preseason, and then the injuries, which is not something that's been part of his problems ever in his career. But this year, my God, it was just part of all the bad luck that they had.
And then you got a guy like Armstead, that was playing with 4 injuries in that game and was still dominant. It's just, and then, me and you had the disagreement a little bit on Skylar Thompson. And I think you came aboard a little bit.
Yeah, the last game he showed me, I needed to see something from him. Still a lot to learn, still a lot to grow in that game and all that. But he showed me a little something in that game that I said, you can work with him. I still, because of the Tua situation, I still think you have to have a third quarterback on this roster. I don't think you can work with 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, one of the things I saw with the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend, Skylar reminds me a little bit of Chad Henne.
Right.
He's got that. He's a good backup. I think he'll be a good guy once he really learns that offense good and he gets a little more confidence that he can come in and drive down 98 yards for a series or 2. So I think we may have our backup, our second string backup, going into next year, and it'll be relatively cheap.
That's it. As when they drafted him, I told people that's what I was hearing from the building, that that was the view, that all right, he can be our backup next year. And it's a lot to ask, but I mean, listen, he played a lot more than we ever expected him to play. So he got an opportunity to really get some developmental time, in real NFL games, and he should come in next year with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and listen, they managed him against the Jets and made sure he didn't make any mistakes. But against Buffalo, I was surprised they opened them up, and listen, a couple of our key wide receivers failed them. They dropped
at least 4 passes were dropped in that game.
4 wide open passes.
Yeah,
that would have been huge gains. And his spiral and his tight throws were.
Yes,
I mean, he was really flinging it in cold weather.
Yeah. No, he was. He played at Kansas State, so
yeah.
So he should be all right with the cold weather stuff. He should be used to the cold weather stuff at Kansas State. But I like what I saw from the kid in that last game. He gave me something. I'm still getting a third quarterback, because until Tua goes through a season without any major injuries, I think you have to, because for me it's more about Tua learning how to play responsible football out there with his body. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if he does that, I really believe he can actually stay healthy.
Right.
I'm of that school. Yeah. I don't know if you are.
So what type of third quarterback do you think they're going to get? Are they going to go out and get?
I wouldn't mind. I've said it. I wouldn't mind drafting a guy, but it's a Andy Dalton type. It's a Taylor Heineke. I love Gardner Minshew. He might have better opportunities. The thing with Tua, because of the injury history, if you take a backup job here, you got to figure, I'm going to play, because the guy that I'm playing behind has missed games every single year. You know what I mean? And so that kind of becomes sexy besides the no state tax and the weather and the location and the offense. I'm throwing to Tyreek and Waddle. So I think if you're the Dolphins, you're going to have a sexier place to recruit a backup quarterback. But if you can't get that, and you draft a kid somewhere in this draft that you think is also a pretty good developmental guy, I don't have a problem with that either.
What do you think about running back? I think that's the one thing we don't
talk
a lot about. We got 3 running backs that become free agents, and are they willing to spend some money to bring somebody in that's got somewhat can be dominant?
You and I talked about Saquon Barkley yesterday. My problem with Saquon is he's going to want money, and I don't know if they got to pay Wilkins, they got to pay Sealer, they've got to cut Byron Jones and take cap hits. So they've got some things that they've got to work out, and I don't know if you go spend money on Saquon Barkley, because notice what they did this year. They went and got 2 backs that didn't cost them a lot of money. And notice what they've done over the last couple of years, this front office. It's the Myles Gaskin. They kind of go under the radar with late round picks or free agents that aren't necessarily high priced. So far, they haven't shown me that they're willing or they want to actually dedicate a lot of money to that position or even a high draft pick to that position. They kind of want to go under the radar and they think that they can get by. And they were actually getting by with Mostert and Jeff Wilson. Those guys were doing a really nice job overall. Mostert, by the way, showed me a little something in the power part of his game that I didn't think he had.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And they kind of messed up a couple years ago when they took Iggy, and there was a couple good running backs still on the board that are actually doing pretty well in the league right now. And they could have grabbed one of those at the 29th pick, which wasn't a high draft pick, really at the time. And so it's one of those things you keep kind of missing out on a running back. I mean, I think the last 3 years we could have got somebody even later in the draft, and we kind of passed up on some of these running backs. And you need a dominant running back.
I agree.
Especially in McDaniel's offense.
I agree. Look at Joe Mixon, what he does for Cincinnati. You know what I mean? I know one of our listeners, Travis, doesn't think that the quarterback needs any help, but no, I'm with you. You need an impactful running back on this team, and I'm hoping that they do something about that in whether it's the draft or free agency. I'm bracing the Dolphin Nation because so far the MO has not been we invest big at that position. And in a year where you've got to pay Wilkins and you've got to pay Sealer, and there's somebody else I think that I'm forgetting that needs to get paid. I know I'm forgetting somebody else right now that I know is up for a contract. And so I just think that is a real issue right now for Miami. And since you're going to have those limitations, I don't expect them to spend, because Barkley's going to want to get paid.
Yeah.
Maybe not top dollar because of his injury history, but he's going to want some pretty decent money. And although I will say this, perfect fit for here.
Yeah. And one thing you got to say about the Dolphins front office is Greer and the financial gurus somehow come up with money every year. They figure a way to do it.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the 1 year Greer realizes, man, we need a running back.
I hope so.
We need a running back that can play all 3 downs.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. And I think what's also key is that you need a complete back, a guy that can block, a guy that can catch. I know he wants it badly for his tight end, and I'm kind of intrigued to see what he does at that tight end spot. And if he goes into the draft or he goes into like free agency, like Hayden Hurst that we talked about with the Cincinnati Bengals, he's a free agent at the end of the year, and there's a guy that can catch and block. So I think those kind of elements are really important for McDaniel to have in his offense.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you're like me. You've been around a long time, and unfortunately, I can remember sitting on shag carpet in my friend's house, watching, us go to 3 Super Bowls in a row, and just dominate. And even in the 4th year, we lost on Kenny Stabler's
sea of hands,
sea of hand pass, and for us to go this many years, Marino years were great, but it never got us to the promised land.
He didn't have enough.
Yep.
Sorry, Travis, but Dan Marino didn't have enough.
Nope. And
they didn't give Marino enough, Travis.
Yep. And if you go back, running back for Marino, and again,
he tried, but Sammy Smith didn't work out, and David Overstreet unfortunately passed away, and Lorenzo Hampton was Lorenzo, and what else? There's one more guy, right? I'm missing.
Yeah, Tony Nathan.
Yeah, Tony, but he had another high draft pick. It was Overstreet. It was Smith. There was one more that I'm forgetting. Isn't there? I want to say there was one more. Somebody help me out there. I thought there was one more in the 80s.
I'm drawing a blank.
One guy that they also had issues with. Bobby Humphreys.
Yep, Bobby Humphrey. Yep.
Bobby Humphreys, God. Yeah, he tried. and he could not find that back, and he could not get that defense to even the killer bees level.
Yep.
Okay, not asking you to go get no name defense again. I get it. That was, and so that's, those are generational defenses, but he could not ever get to that point for Marino. And I was talking about this the other day. Hindsight is 2020. But we were kind of silly and foolish thinking to ourselves, oh, we'll be back. And it's like, it shows you how great Marino was to get there without those elements, just to get there, like Elway did without those elements. And then he would get thoroughly embarrassed until he got the defense and the running game that they, with Terrell Davis and those guys. That's the part that Marino was always missing. And it was kind of foolish for us to think that this is going to happen again and again, when we should have been thinking, my God, we were so lucky to be here because of this guy is so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Marino,
God, so good.
The other team scores 35. He's scoring 42, 49. You had that kind of arm, that kind of accuracy. He made the people around him look good.
Yeah.
His quick release, even if his offensive line was hurt or injured, his release was so quick that, he just got the ball out and he would put it right in their hands where it was hard to miss it.
Right.
He had accuracy.
I'm with you. By the way, William Quigley, of course, the owner of Cutter's Edge Pro. And remember, we tell you Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. You can reach out to us, ask for Will, ask for Mike, ask for the great people out here. Tell them that we sent you. So if you're looking to take your business or your home to that next level, and you drive into your house every day and you're like, yeah, I'm not impressed. You go to your backyard and it's dull and dead and not impressed. Well, if you want to impress yourself and everybody else in your neighborhood, call the great folks at Cutter's Edge Pro. Immediately increases the value of your home. And the best part about it all is when you watch it happen from scratch. Because, Will, the amount of work that you guys put into it from beginning to end, but especially in the beginning with the irrigation, the electricity, everything that goes on, that's the impressive part to me, is the foundational approach to the way you guys design everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing a lot of people don't realize is the prep work that goes in place when you're doing a full landscaping project. You didn't have irrigation in your yard. We added irrigation from scratch. That meant, putting clocks in, running all the wires, all the main pipes, all the valves in your system. So you can put 5 minutes in the front, 20 minutes in the back, depending on how much water you need in different parts of your yard.
Right.
That's the new advanced system. You got a smart clock. You have two different lighting systems. You got
yes. We have the colorful lights on the front that we can change it. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We can make it pink every night. When the Dolphins win, we make them Dolphins colors and Canes colors and all kinds of stuff. And in the back, we have the beautiful white lighting that sets the mood for the backyard.
Right. It keeps the tone a little bit down back there, so it makes it relaxing. And that was, you had FX Luminaire in the front, which is your color changing lights, a lot like the technologies on the Hard Rock Hotel.
Right.
And then you got, in the back.
Yes, I have a spinning guitar in my house. Yes, come on over.
Yeah, and then you got in the back, you have a different type of system of Luxar, which is a little bit less, or Kitchener. You got a Kitchener in the back. So your Kitchener system in the back is got that subtle lighting.
Right.
And then, listen, you had a neighbor put a wall up that cut into your lighting, and you called me, oh my God, the lighting's out in the back. And, and we had it up within about 20, 30 minutes.
Yes, right away.
Finding the wiring and putting it back together. So we have a really good maintenance staff that can come back in and fix things and change light bulbs out or and things like that. So
so if you guys don't listen, a lot of you're busy, so you don't have the time to keep up with everything, but you want it to look sharp. It's not only designing it, it's not only putting it in place, but also if you need help with maintenance, Cutter's Edge Pro can do the same thing for you, for your entire condominium complex, for your business, for your home. So whatever it is you're trying to just give an absolute facelift, Cutter's Edge Pro can also keep that looking beautiful for you month in and month out too.
Yeah. And, one of my goals is, and you remember we first started, And I want to give you a compliment too. I've been listening to you for years. All the way back to that other radio station you used to be on for years. It's a little.
You mean 640?
640,
right? And 560. Yeah.
I mean, I go way back listening to you because I'm a big Dolphin fan, and you and me have similar personalities. We're realists, right?
Yes.
And if something's not right, we're gonna say it's not right.
Yes.
If they did great, we're the first ones to jump up and down and praise our team. And if they don't do well, we go against it. And one of my goals for your yard is to get you out of the house.
Yes,
right?
you did.
Right. Because a lot of people have this, they forget they when they buy a house, they're not only buying a 4 walls where they're going to live inside. They have all this. In fact, the outdoor space a lot of times is bigger than the indoor space of their homes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Right. Sometimes, in most cases, and unless you're living in a townhouse, but we can even do beautiful things in a courtyard of a townhouse.
For sure.
People don't get outside. They don't, and the other thing you didn't mention about the artificial turf, by not having that kind of moisture in the backyard, which grass needs to maintain, it reduces your mosquitoes.
That's true.
Right. So you have less mosquitoes. And the other thing we did a great tie-in of your backyard with the artificial turf, but also putting that fresh air plants to create fresh air for your backyard. It makes you relax. Shade. You can sit back there and relax and enjoy that backyard. And
my little dogs think like it's a jungle, so they go all over the place and they love exploring the jungle. Well, I feel like I need to crank a little Creedence Clearwater Revival when they go out there.
Yeah.
Run through the jungle.
Yeah. And the other thing, artificial turf does, for people that, don't want to have to mow their grass, fertilize their grass, plug it when it gets marks in it. The dogs like to dig, so they're going to dig and cover.
No more digging.
They're going to cover their poop and stuff like that. The other thing it does for you is it reduces the fleas and the ticks.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Because fleas and ticks, they actually go up to the edge of a blade of grass and they latch onto the dog. That's how they get onto dogs. And, they don't like to nest in artificial turf.
No.
So you're not going to get a lot of fleas. They're not going to get ticks because that's.
And they won't bring them in the home, by the way.
And they won't bring them in the home. And then you got to fumigate the house also. So I'm a big, listen, we're landscapers, so we like grass. I think there's a place for artificial turf. Your backyard is one of them.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be,
I have 4 dogs, man.
Right. Not to replace everything in the property, but it's it definitely has a place where if you have huge trees, too much shade, grass doesn't want to grow.
I'll give you another thing.
4 pets that are going to tear up the yard.
Or you want to play with your dog and they roll around. Well, what happens when they roll around in the grass and the dirt and all that stuff? The artificial turf is clean. So when you can actually play with your dog and they're not picking up all kinds of dirt and crap and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And when it rains and then you got to open the door to go let the dogs out after it finished raining. Well, the grass is wet. There's dirt and mud and all that. With artificial turf, it drains quickly. So within minutes that it stopped raining, the dogs can go out, do their business, come right back, and they bring nothing inside. I mean, that's the other thing. To me, it's like the greatest invention if you have dogs to have the artificial turf.
Oh, absolutely.
And by the way, we were playing cornhole, which Will created these 2 cornhole games for us, and my daughter came over the other day on Sunday and we were playing a little cornhole out there. And the beauty again is that with grass, sometimes you'll damage the grass when you're doing that kind of stuff because the stuff will be on the grass for a while and all that, and maybe it doesn't capture its form again. Well, with the artificial turf, you put it on and then you take it off, boom, pops right back up again.
Yeah. Plus, it's good for your health out there because you get outside, you're exercising a little bit. Yeah. Cornhole. Yeah. You got a putting green. You can go out there and it gives you.
Did that on Saturday night, by the way.
It gives you a reason to get outside.
Yeah.
And it's good for your health. It's good for your relaxation.
Yeah.
It gives you peace of mind. You have a bad day. You come home, you sit in the back. You put the music on back there. We can even put speakers out there, things like that. Also, there's like all different kinds of things that you can do that'll make that backyard inviting to get out there, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of, I mean, listen, man, it's a crazy world nowadays. You want to kind of make your home more of an oasis. I mean, that's what we're trying to do at our house. We're trying to come up with ways, different things that we can do inside the house so we don't have to go out nearly as much or anything like that to
Well, more
entertain
people are
ourselves.
working from home too, so
Right.
they can sit out in the back and have their laptop set up and
Have a studio at home.
Have a studio at home.
By the way, I will be doing shows now that everything is done. Now that they finished that back wall in my house from the neighbor, you'll soon see me doing some segments from our backyard, and you'll get to see some of that stuff.
So one other question I got for you.
Yes.
What's the Miami Heat going to do at the trade deadline here?
God, man, I am so disappointed with this whole mess because the Lowry thing really put a wrench into everything that you could do. And that part to me is I don't know what they can do. I don't know if they have the capital to go get a big name right now. I almost feel, Will, like we have to wait till next year when Lowry's contract is an expiring deal, and then you hope for that disgruntled star that appears. And I don't know if there's one right now. Ira was talking about maybe what's the name of the guy from the Knicks? But he's scared. Julius, he scares the hell out of me. And he thinks, maybe Julius can play his best basketball here. That's believable because, damn, how many players have done that over the years? They come here and they, straighten out their careers and they play their best basketball. I just don't think they're going to get that player, or they can acquire that player that is going to put them up there with the Celtics and Milwaukee or whatever. I just think they're going to be that tier under. I think we're better off hoping that Bam continues this trajectory that he's at, and that Tyler and some of the other young guys follow suit and continue, because Tyler's grown, Bam has grown. They kind of got to continue to grow and become those kind of guys for him.
And my, unfortunately, Riley always is out there trying to get veterans in, and
Right.
he doesn't stick with his young guys. And he finally stuck with Tyler, which was, is one of the few rookies that he kind of mentored all the way up and got him into a starting role now, and that's paying off. And I like Jovic. I think he's going to be a player.
Yeah, but he's a baby right now.
He's a young guy, but he's big.
I like him.
He can shoot.
Skills.
He can play defense.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they don't trade him away trying to get,
it's very possible.
It's very possible.
Because they have 2 first-round picks, but somebody may want a first-round pick and Jovic.
And I think that's the capital that their other teams are going to look at, because, and hopefully Riley goes, you know what, we're not trading him. We're going to stick with him like we did Hero, because he didn't give up Hero. And a lot of people wanted Hero.
And let me tell you something. Jovic is a Riley type player because he's a long player and he loves those kind of guys.
Yep.
And so it's to me, it's kind of interesting. And that's why the dynamic to me, it's all about Lowry. And I know we have no patience as a society, and I know we want it to happen yesterday, but I think we may have to wait till next year to really make that power step, because that $30 million salary hole needs to be filled. And then once you can unload Lowry, I think that's the way you create the opportunity to get that star in here right now. And because they're also not willing to go luxury tax, I don't know.
And then, then you got Butler, which has probably got a year or two more of being dominant. Then I think he gets in that, Wade era where, he's got to change his offense, because he's not going to be able to, post up constantly down there and fight with the bigs. He's going to get tired.
I got a difficult question for you.
Go for it.
You, sir, are an exceptional Miami Heat season ticket holder. You have, I believe, six seats.
No, I have 2 seats to the Heat. I got 6 seats to the
Oh,
Dolphins.
sorry, 6 seats Dolphins, 2 seats Heat. Okay. How are you feeling as a season ticket holder? How the NBA is handling all that you go every night and you have no idea who's not like tonight.
Yeah.
You go tonight and Brown and Tatum played last night and they lost. So do they play tonight? You know what I mean? And for you as a season ticket holder, you go to a game and Jimmy Butler's not there half the time.
Yep, and they don't tell you until you're till about 15 minutes before the game.
Right, when
So
you're already made the trek.
Right, and you've been in traffic for like an hour trying to get down.
They're not going to tell you the
downtown.
day before where you could have sold your tickets.
Right. Well, even worse yet. So sometimes we give the tickets away to customers. You've given them away for us, and that customer was going to see one of their star players. That's why they wanted to go down there, and they get all the way down there, and that star player was held out and not played. And I just I miss the days where players played the full year. They battled through injuries. They were tough guys. Even on the football side, like an Armstead on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Who
tough some bitch.
Yeah. Who went out there and played hurt. Hey, Tua has played hurt.
Yes.
And even Mahomes, if you watched in that last game,
he didn't want to go out.
He was so upset when they made him go get an X-ray real quick, and then
which was a smart thing to do.
Yeah,
I think they wanted to make sure. Listen, we got you. You want to play, okay? I just got to make sure you don't have a torn ligament or a broken bone right now, okay? Because if I put you out there, then I've got the NFLPA, I've got your future, and the player doesn't care about that at that moment. They're like just. But they did the responsible thing. Go get that X-ray. Let's make sure there's nothing real serious, because we had Bob Kuchenberg play with a broken bone in his back. Was it right?
Yeah, Stevenson,
yeah.
Stevenson played with one arm.
Yeah,
half a season.
Yeah, Jack Youngblood played with like a broken leg or something.
Yep.
Like it's crazy how the things that have happened in the past. So I understood that part with Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I respect the player. But I thought they did the right thing that you have to find out if there's something.
Yeah, but you got to admit that a high ankle sprain, it's going to hurt worse and worse as the week goes.
Yeah.
Depending if if he takes a couple shots before the game to try to numb some of that up, but it's hard in an ankle to do that.
High ankle's worse.
Yeah.
Because your stability is really, really, it's fragile.
Yep.
And you can easily bend up that ankle and re-injure yourself all over again. High ankles are the worst. You're almost better off breaking the bone.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because they last so damn long.
Yeah, they last a long time.
So how are you thinking about it now in the future as a Heat season ticket holder? Because that's got a friend of mine's got multiple seats, and they called him for the 3-year renewal, and he said, nope. And he's always done the 3-year renewal. And he said, I'm doing 1 year. And the guy asked him, well, why are you doing 1 year? And he goes, because you guys aren't giving me the product now. I go all the time and Jimmy Butler's not there. And so I can't keep paying for tickets when you're not giving me my value in return. And so he did the 1 year.
Same thing. I didn't do the 3-year this year. I did the 1 year. Again, it comes down to, you're not putting the product on the court all the time, and you don't give us a discount on the tickets when you don't put the premium players out there, and sometimes they don't even show up to the game and watch from the sideline. They're sitting at home, and sometimes they're just giving them rest. They're giving veteran rest a couple games, and you're paying for every game to go to the games, and again, it's we're in a different era. We're in a different era.
I blame two people for ruining the NBA. One, Greg Popovich, okay, with all this, load management, we call it now, all this crap. He started it with that crap. And number two, patient zero, Vlade Divac. Yeah, you guys are wondering where I'm going, huh? Flopping. That's where flopping started in the NBA, okay? As we started getting more Europeans, we got cigarette-smoking Vlade Divac, Floppy Divac. Yep. Nice job by you, Floppy Divac.
Sean, you're on.
And he started with the flopping, and from then, that disease started in the NBA. So there you go. Two people that have screwed up the NBA, just like Tony La Russa screwed up baseball.
Well, it's funny because in the last few years, the NBA has become like football or soccer, right? the guy gets hurt. He's on the ground. He's
writhing in pain.
He's writhing in pain. He's rolling around. And all of a sudden he pops up because he got the foul. And he pops up like nothing happened, walks over and takes his foul shots.
Right.
It just, again, it's.
Well, we got the Celtics tonight. There was a guy in a wheelchair once. Pierce left in a wheelchair and then came back like it was nothing. I mean, he's and it started with Vlade Divac.
Yep, it did.
That's the guy that brought it, man. Yep. It's crazy stuff. All right. So you happy with Tua?
I'm happy with Tua. I think they have no other choice than to pick up his 5th-year option next year. It's a cheap option.
Yeah.
He's going to have to prove himself.
Right. Either way, he's going to have to ball out.
He's going to have to play well and
stay healthy
and show he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right. And then he'll get his big contract.
Yeah, because Steinberg's going to sit down with him and say, "To it, you gotta stay healthy. You got to learn to get rid of the football. You got to stay on the field. If you want that big contract, then you've got to do that." And Lee Steinberg knows that he will have no negotiation leverage if his quarterback can't stay healthy.
Right. Yeah, and that's the one thing you got to give X,
I
props.
do.
X. I mean, listen. Years ago I played football. I mean, obviously, Little League football,
right?
Or Optimist football, and I had a groin injury. And let me tell you something. That's one of the most painful injuries to play with, that people don't realize.
Oh, God, I've had it too.
That in a thigh or a quad.
You know how I got mine? See, you got it playing football. I got it getting out of a car for a Van Halen concert. Okay, that's what happened. All right, I pull up to in Orlando. What's it called? That new arena that's a square box. Amway Center. There you go. Well, you just got your A game. I'm telling you. And so I get out. I pull one leg out, and old and overweight. There you go. I pulled and that thing hung around for 4 to 5 months.
Imagine playing football and running with it.
Right. That's why I said all year he's probably 70%, and I gave him the pass that at least he's out there and he's trying, man.
Yeah, Armstead and X, man.
Armstead, I know people say, "Oh, he's injury prone," and yes, he is. But what he showed me this year is that he's going to try to fight through those injuries, and if he can play, and he's still effective with the injuries.
That's how good he is.
Jesus
That's how dominant
Christ, man!
And let me tell you, X stepped up at the end of the year, man.
He did get that pass knocked down towards the end on the right side of the field.
Yeah. The last 2 games, he had some good plays in those late. I mean, he gave up some plays.
Yeah, he gave up some plays,
but when he needed them getting out toward that goal line, he was
No, I respect that X was out there. Look, after the Byron Jones situation, you should have some appreciation for X.
Yep.
You're not happy that he didn't have a good season and all that other stuff, but in the end, you have to respect the professionalism of sacrificing yourself, because that's kind of how many guys are sacrificing out there for Cutter's Edge Pro right now.
Yep.
Right? You got a couple guys that are probably banged up, a couple guys are a little older, a couple guys that might be, a little bit feeling under the weather or whatever, and they're out there grinding. And that's kind of the same thing as a teacher or a policeman or many of us that go to work, and we have to kind of fight through things.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's all about. All right, well, so if folks in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties want to take their home or their businesses or their condominium complexes to the next level, what do they got to do to reach out to you guys?
Well, I would say the first thing is go to our website, which is cuttersedgepro.com. You can call us at 954-472-0622, or you can go to info@cuttersedgepro.com. Send us an email.
There you go.
And we'll get somebody to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. You'll get a phone call back. And you can also do it through Google searches and all that kind of stuff. We're everywhere. Go to our Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere.
And they've got a show coming back, and we'll be promoting that for you also when their show comes back, because it's very educational too. Because my wife and I are becoming we're developing green thumbs now, is what we're doing in the process.
Listen, I was impressed, man. I was impressed when I got to
We
your
try,
house.
man.
We
try.
We do that quarter. So after we do landscape, we do that for everybody. After 3 months, we come back to the house. We make sure everything's growing the way it's supposed to be. If there's anything we got to correct, change the irrigation, adjust something, we do that. and we didn't have to do much at your house. It was looking darn good.
Yeah, the only thing you really had to straighten out was my association's lazy way of putting trees on the other side of my wall.
Yeah, the hedge
and
line.
The hedge line, and you guys made that thing, and it's not even it's not my responsibility or his responsibility, but they took it to a next level because that's what they do.
Well, it's the
at
first
Cutter's
thing
Edge
when you
Pro.
see your house is that
Yeah.
outside wall. So
Yeah.
we want to make that look better.
Yeah, the wall that kids went right through and thought that they were, Fast and Furious.
Yeah, doing donuts out there in your street.
Jesus Christ, man, it's crazy, and they're doing this all over the place.
I know.
It's
Kids today are. I mean, we were. I'm sure you were.
I had some fun too.
I had some fun as a teenager.
Of course,
I did something. But one thing I think is different today. We weren't destructive. We didn't destruct other people's property.
No.
Right? We destructed ourselves.
Right.
Yeah,
If we hurt anybody, it was ourselves. We weren't trying to
doing
hurt
something stupid.
others. Right.
Yeah. We didn't. We weren't destructive to other people's property.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Well, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you big time, man.
Man, great to be on your show and
Thank
talk
you.
a little sports too.
Yes, and I'll be on his show soon. So we'll
You'll talk some landscape.
That's right. Exactly. I can talk landscaping now. Exactly. That's what it's all about. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you.
You got it.
All right, William Quigley. Make sure you reach out to them at Cutter's Edge Pro. Did I disconnect the cable or anything? Okay. Almost. CuttersEdgePro.com. Oh, by the way, outside of Brady or Carr, there's absolutely nothing. My man Tua's the guy. He's going to get rid of the ball and take less hits. He'll be fine. I hope so. I'm with you guys. I think he's going to take a nice step forward next year. And listen, let's talk a little bit about Tua and the Dolphins here on all of this. And I just touched on base with it with Will. He has to be motivated now to play smart because now he has to play for his future. See, the first couple of years, he was trying to prove you wrong. And as I told you before anybody else, he listens. He takes receipts, as the kids say nowadays, right? I told you he did that. And so all of you out there saying he was too short and his arm wasn't strong enough and he can't throw the deep ball and he can't run a high-powered offense and all that stuff, he heard all of you. And the crazy SOB went to every extreme to prove that he can do all of that. Hell, they said he couldn't throw the deep ball. He became one of the more prolific deep ball passers in the NFL this year. If he wasn't number one, he was number two or number three at one point or another throughout the season. One of the most prolific long-distance passers in the NFL is Tua Tagovailoa. Why? Because he kept hearing it from you all out there. So now guess what he's hearing? Oh, he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy because the narrative has changed. Remember, we talked about this last week. Notice how the narrative has completely changed now. Now nobody talks about, oh, Tua can't play, Tua can't throw, because you'd be an idiot if you say that at this point, because you can see he can throw, he can play. So now he heard that you can't stay healthy, right? So now he's got to stay motivated because he takes receipts to stay healthy. But then in comes Lee Steinberg, the most influential person in his financial world, his agent. His agent's going to sit down and say, Tua, you did a great job last year, man. You proved to everybody you can play, but you're getting injured. We gotta change your game. You got to learn to get rid of the ball. You can't go take on tacklers. I need you to stay healthy. It's the only way I can negotiate a long-term contract and financial security for you and your family for the rest of your life. It's the only way that if you stay healthy, you're going to do more muscle milk commercials. It's the only way that if you stay healthy, you will be a viable spokesperson for many other sponsors over the next couple of years. But if you're breaking down, you're out of football, you're rehabbing injuries, I can't get you a long-term contract, and I can't get you all the sponsorships. So that becomes a real problem for you, isn't it, Tua? Yes, sir. Yes, Lee. Okay. So let's do the right thing. So he's going to be motivated, I think, because he hears all of you talk about that he can't stay healthy, right? Because that's all you can say about him now, right? All of you are already wrong already that he couldn't play. The healthy part, you're all right. Every one of you is right, and now he has to prove you wrong. He already proved all the people out there that doubted him that said he couldn't play. Every one of you, you look terrible. You're wrong. You weren't even close to being right. Put it that way. So, but now you've switched over to, well, it doesn't matter. He can't stay healthy. And he hears it. So he's going to be motivated to change all of that. And that's why I think that there's potential to actually keep Tua on the field and have a future with him, because he's got to learn, okay, I got to make a quick decision and I'm done. And if not, throw it away. Throw it at somebody's feet, throw it out of bounds, whatever, but get rid of the football. Don't take hits when you don't have to. That's the way I look at Tua Tagovailoa's situation. By the way, Heat and Celtics tonight. Heat are favored by 2 in the line. Celtics, by the way, lost to the Magic last night, 113-98. I saw where the Heat, did you see this? The Heat rumored interested in Cam Reddish from the Knicks. And I think that, by the way, I think that's a very interesting move. Why? You're going to get him for nothing. You're not going to have to give up any first-round picks or pick. Okay, he's a former first-round pick, but he has a former first-round pick that has underachieved. And then the Knicks traded him for a first round, and now they're only asking for a second-rounder in return. Now, you have to be careful because, believe it or not, second-rounders are worth money in the NBA. They're value and trade value, not necessarily the player you're going to get, but just because the pick is very valued in itself. And I think that when we look at this move, this is one where this is the kind of guy that could reach his potential here, and they could get something under the radar. The thing is, I wonder if the Knicks and the Heat, apparently there are no serious talks yet, but if the Heat is interested, I wonder if the Knicks are going to go, well, wait a minute, they're interested. Oh, should we really trade him? But I think Cam Reddish could actually be a decent player here. I got one more thing I want to talk to you about Tua right now. Joseph Rosabel says, I hear Clippers are very interested in Lowry. LOL. I'll send him and his heavy ass to the Clippers. No problem. LOL. It's a 3-team trade. It gets us Marcus Morris, Kennard, and Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt kid's kind of interesting. Anyone who gets an injury must be made of glass, according to some people. Yeah, that's what it is. Josh Allen averaged an interception per game this year. Goff had a better year passing than Josh Allen. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Let's see. Brady might be able to bounce back, but it's a big risk. With our luck, Brady would get a season ending immediately. Brady's going to get old. If he does stay in the league, whoever signs him, it'll be a disaster and he'll get old. Big O NBA question. Do you think the Heat might have a good chance of bringing back Jay Crowder before the trading deadline? I think they have a chance, but if the asking price is too much, I don't think they're going to trade that much for him. That's the thing. They're probably asking for too much, and that's why he hasn't been moved. In sports, we lack patience. And as Dolphin fans, we lack a lot of patience. And that comes from frustrations of a quarter century. And if you're 30 years old or 35 or 25, you live a really frustrated life because you've never seen a good Dolphins team. You have no idea what a good Dolphins team is. If you're over 50, You've witnessed great Dolphin teams. You've maybe even seen a championship. And you're frustrated because they've never resembled that ever again. They've never even come close. You know what it looks like personally because you've seen it, but you have never witnessed it again because they can't achieve it, right? So the frustrations come from it. And then sometimes we don't have patience when we even have something good. And, here we are. Some of you want to get rid of Tua, the number one rated passer in the NFL, something the Dolphins have never achieved post Marino. They've never had a guy that was even probably top 10 rated passer. Maybe the year Pennington, but I mean, it wasn't really an impressive year and points or anything, but it was like 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But the ratio maybe gave him a high rating, right? And so now we've got people that want to get rid of the number one rated quarterback. We've got people that want to get rid of Mike McDaniel. We've got people that want to get rid of Chris Grier. Yet this is a team that should have beaten Buffalo 3 straight times. Even the third time with their third string quarterback and a crap ton of injuries, they still had a chance to win that game. They should have won the second game, and they still weren't healthy, but Tua played more than well enough to win that game. He did everything to win that game. Others failed and lost that game, but they easily should have won that game. And yet you have people that want to change. And so I mention this because patience is needed. And I'll tell you why. Zac Taylor. So Zac Taylor was here in Miami. He was an assistant coach. Did you know they had a pretty decent head coach sitting there? No. Because most of us thought Zac Taylor was here because he was related to another coach that was here. So it's kind of like nepotism. Then he goes up there and he wins 3 games or 4 games his first year or something? Has another crappy second year, little improvement. And now look at them. And Zac Taylor is winning with Mike Brown as the owner. One of the worst owners in the history of the NFL. A cheap-ass owner. And yet, they made it to the Super Bowl last year. They landed a great quarterback, and they've built a hell of a team around a great quarterback. They've got the best wide receiving core. They've got a Pro Bowl caliber running back. They added linemen this offseason. Now they've lost a couple of injuries. And they've got a young defense that is actually playing really, really well. And Zac Taylor had to learn how to get the right people in place. And things are falling in place. And in Cincinnati, they've never won. Something that at least Miami has had success. They have some championships. But Cincinnati has only had a few flash seasons. A couple where they actually went pretty far in the playoffs to the Super Bowl and everything. But they have no hardware. And look, Zac Taylor experiment did not start well. But it's working out pretty well right now for him. And all I'm saying is, I'm not telling you that Mike McDaniel is definitely going to win the Super Bowl. But I'm telling you, we should be patient with what's going on with Mike McDaniel because a lot of it was pretty intriguing stuff, pretty impressive stuff compared to the offenses we've seen in the past. Chris Grier, some of you want to kill him, right? But again, I go back and tell you, they were 8-3. The only reason the season went awry, it's because a bunch of people got injured. But if you keep most of them healthy, they would have done a lot better than 9-8. And less people would be, bitching and complaining. So it's up to Tua to play smart. And it's up to the others to hopefully have a little better luck and stay healthy. But staying the course and showing patience is something that could possibly pay off for the Dolphins. Why? Because the quarterback's already shown you he can play. He just has to be responsible and get rid of the football. The coach has shown you he knows offense. He's got to get better on game day. And the front office has found players in the draft, has found players in street free agency, has found players in regular free agency, has made good trades. Are all the moves perfect? No. But damn, dude, this is still one of the better teams you've seen as a Dolphins fan over the last 20 years. And they would have been much better if it wasn't for the injuries. So just like patience allows Zach Taylor to grow and have success, which, by the way, happens in other areas. Jalen Hurts is not the same quarterback now that he was in his first year. Little patience. The kid has developed his accuracy and is playing a lot better. Hey, I got to tell you, I didn't believe in Dan Campbell. Still not convinced yet, but he's well on his way to proving me wrong because it wasn't that impressive the first couple of years. This year, damn, dude. I think, what was it? Was it over 500, 9-8, right? I think they ended, I want to say this was their first year in a long time over 500. They didn't make the playoffs, but for the Lions, that's a hell of a season, dude. And that's improvement. That's enough improvement that you have to say, hey, is this Dan Campbell guy the real deal? Let's give him another year. 9-8, right? Let's give him another year. Sometimes patience pays off. Sometimes staying the course is the right thing to do, especially when there's evidence that it can work. And right now, all three elements can work. They just need a little luck every once in a while. And by the way, most championship teams, they get some luck along the way. The ball bounces their way, or they stay healthy, whatever it is, dude. Okay? I don't care if it's a tuck rule. I don't care if it's, was it Bateman? What was the name of the guy that got in the way in the Chicago game for the Marlins? Bateman, Bartman. You know what I'm saying? There's an immaculate reception. There's all kinds of things that happen in games, and it helps you out. And then also it's injuries that can help you out. And to me, that's really what the Dolphins need more than anything else. They need a couple of breaks. The elements are there more than you've ever seen them. Okay? The coach will grow. Hopefully the quarterback can grow. And then obviously the front office can keep doing what they're doing, and maybe you'll get a couple of breaks. And people will stay healthy. Be patient, man. Or what are you doing? What's up there, Sean?
The Packers will not be trading Aaron Rodgers within the NFC conference. They will explore the idea of trading the QB exclusively to the AFC.
Okay, so the Packers will not trade to the NFC Aaron Rodgers, but they will explore on the AFC side. So Raiders and Jets, do your thing.
That's what I was going to say, because earlier the Jets kind of was thrown in there.
It's the Raiders and the Jets.
They want 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I know.
Is what they want. And so everybody's saying, I think you knocked you. Yeah.
Knocked what?
I think you knocked their sound off.
Oh, because it hit that thing?
Yeah.
Just hit the picture? Or is this? There we go. I think the sound is back because it's going like this. So
the sound is back, but now I got to get the camera back on.
Okay, we'll get the camera back. I'm sorry about that. Although it's a positive.
Hey, that's not easy.
My face
there we go.
Off camera is actually
all
a
right,
positive.
Now we are good. You're back on.
Okay. Now we're back scaring people.
Scary when I pop up.
Okay. There you go. All right. What else do we have going on in the world? How is Bitcoin doing right now? Bitcoin's at 22,914, hanging strong, man. That's impressive. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. How is the market? The market, Dow is down slightly, 7 points. The S&P is down 10.5. So markets are they kind of opened a little bit. I think it's what's going on in Japan. It's kind of scaring the crap out of people right now. They are screwed over in Japan. They can't even raise rates to fight inflation, and inflation is going through the roof because they don't have enough money to pay off their bonds and their loans. That is we're in pretty damn good shape compared to some of the things going on in Europe and in other places, dude. I'm telling you, we are pretty damn fortunate in that sense. By the way, when sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Yes. All right. So listen to this one. Michael Jordan going on the big screen on Monday. Amazon Studios announced that its production of Air will release globally in theaters April 5th. The film, by the way, directed by Ben Affleck, will tell the story of how Nike's fledgling basketball division overcame the odds in the 80s to sign then rookie Michael Jordan to an endorsement deal, one that eventually evolved into an extremely lucrative, decades-long partnership and effectively changed popular culture. Air will star Affleck as Nike co-founder Phil Knight, Matt Damon as influential Nike executive Sonny Vaccaro, and Viola Davis as Jordan's mom, Dolores Jordan. Jason Bateman, Chris Messina, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans round out the main cast. A casting for Michael Jordan has not been announced. The film will mark Amazon's first theatrical release since the summer of 2019, when it put out Late Night, starring Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling. With Ben's incredible direction, the film delivers a nostalgic look at the culture-defining moment that absolutely lends itself to a global theatrical event. Amazon MGM Studios head Jennifer Salke said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter, the movie was an extraordinarily experience, where we had the honor of working with some of the best cast and crew in the business, all of whom brought passion, persistence, and creativity to a collective effort at recreating a remarkable and aspirational story. This is the best creative and personal experience of our lives. We look forward to many more like it. Now, the one thing that I see, I'm looking forward to it because it's Michael Jordan, so I'm sure I'm going to watch it. And the story of the Air Jordans, it is a cultural phenomenon. I mean, you've got people that collect them. You got people that have closets that are just made for Jordans, and they make sure that they have air conditioning and everything is properly kept, and they keep them in their boxes and all that. And it's like the way some might treat a pair of Bally or Florsheim shoes or whatever kind of Hugo Boss or whatever the hell it is you wear as shoes. Well, that's the same way they treat their sneakers. And Jordan sneakers, not only do you buy them and they are fashion statements, but they're also investments because they actually go up in value. The rarity of the shoe will then go up in value too on top of all of that. So there's no doubt that its impact financially and culturally and everything, fashion and everything, you name it, is there. But the other thing that you have to notice, and this is where our world is changing, it's not about ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox anymore, right? First, then Fox Sports 1 and ESPN and Sun Sports and all that, they got into the mix, right? cable satellite channels got into the mix to compete against the regular channels that had your sporting events, right? And they have sucked up the life of all of that. Now here comes the new stage. It's called platforms. Oh, wow. Where are we on? Oh, we're on a platform. Yes. Platforms are taking over the world. You get in your car, you go to Apple or Spotify or Stitcher or Google Play to listen to your favorite podcasts, right? You go home and you're watching Netflix and you're watching Hulu and you're watching YouTube and you're going all over the place. And so Amazon now, along with Apple, they now want to become your sports hub. So they're adding Thursday Night Football, or they're going to add, now YouTube's going to get the entire Sunday Ticket. So they'll have the Red Zone, all that kind of stuff. I'm a YouTube guy. I have YouTube service at home. They have the Red Zone package, all of these things. But Amazon, with the Thursday Night Football, with the Formula One racing stuff that they have, all this kind of stuff that they're doing, you see the Michael Jordan film, they are doing everything to become a place where you and I are going to go to a lot to go see sporting events. You see Apple now, right? They added the MLS. So now they have, several sports on their platforms too. This is kind of the changing of the guard, and this is part of it. This is how you make yourself a sports entity. And the other thing, the other caveat I got to add, the best deal on the planet is Amazon Prime. It's the best deal on the planet. Whatever it is, they charge you $140 or whatever it is for the year. For the year, you get the TV programming, you get music, okay? And then you get to order on Prime everything on Amazon, and you get free shipping. For me, that's where my membership pays for itself 4 times over with all the crap that I order from Amazon. With all the stuff I order for myself, my wife, and my daughter. Are you kidding me? And my dogs. You know how much I save in just shipping? A hell of a lot more than I pay for the service. I mean, the way that Jeff Bezos has done it, it's genius, man. Amazon has, from books to what they are now. Oh, and he's going to space too on top of all of that. But Amazon is a place where we're going to go to, as sports fans, and we're going to be living a lot in that platform in order to enjoy some of the sports that we love, or some of the sports entertainment that we love, like that Michael Jordan movie. That is your KSDT-CPA Sports Business Report. They've got 3 offices, by the way, in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, and they are Forbes' top tax firms and accounting firms in the country. They're in the top 200, folks, and they're growing. They're going to add another office in North Carolina. So our friends that are watching and listening to us in North Carolina, we've got a KSDT-CPA office coming your way. So if you're looking for somebody to take care of your personal taxes, if you're looking for somebody to take care of your business taxes and help your business excel, because they can help out from insurance to payroll to planning for the future, retirement funds, you name it, they can help you. KSDT CPAs, they do it all. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, 305-670-3370.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Right. I like it. Yes, sir.
You're gonna get to see your boy in the Senior Bowl.
Who's going? Who's going to Senior Bowl?
Hendon Hooker is going to be there. He accepted the invitation. Of course, it's not playing.
Yeah, he's not playing, so he's just going to hang
out there to network and watch his peers compete.
Okay, I'm interested because there's a lot of quarterbacks there at the Senior Bowl, and maybe they draft a guy in the middle rounds. You never know. You never know. Let's see, what else do we have? Snow help Bills 5% of the time. Hey, Zachary, what we've learned now, okay, is that Miami is too hot for the Bills and Buffalo's too cold for the Bills. That's what we've learned. I don't know what makes is Buffalo like my wife, never happy? What's going on here? Too hot, too cold, complaining this, complaining that. What's going on? You know what? They should build a dome there. We all said, why would you build a dome in Buffalo? Well, when you got a team that can't win in the snow or in the heat, yeah, you may want to need a little air conditioning and carpet. Isn't that interesting, huh? The Bills can't play in the snow and they can't play in the heat. That's kind of tough. It's going to be hard. Boy, did the Bengals dominate them, huh? Wow, that was impressive, the way they dominated them. Amazon is the new Walmart. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. And you won't get shot. Sorry I said that, but, there's no chance you're going to get shot going into Amazon. At Walmart, well, it's a whole different ballgame. Okay? Let's see. Mayweather, what is this? What are you laughing about? What happened now?
Anthony Chang just sent the Celtics injury report for tonight.
Oh, God.
Malcolm Brogdon out. Jaylen Brown out. Danilo Gallinari out. Al Horford out. Marcus Smart out.
That's disgusting. The NBA is it's gross irresponsibility.
Tatum's the only one playing.
You are laughing in the face of your season ticket holders, fans that show up, your sponsors, the entire sport. I just went through the Michael Jordan thing yesterday. The freak played 82 games. Didn't start, which I was actually shocked, but because the Wizards were bad. He actually started like 67, but he played in 82 games his final season. Remember I told you he played in 9 of 14 years, he played 82 games. The other seasons were like 80 or 81. One season was 17 games because he was just coming back from baseball, and that was the year that the Magic picked his pocket and they went to the finals and got embarrassed by Houston and all that stuff. So that one, that one didn't count. And then the other one was he broke his ankle, so he only played a couple games. By the way, he came back that same season. In the early 80s, where medicine was nothing like it is now, Michael Jordan broke his ankle at the beginning of the year and came back at the end of the season. Okay? And I want to say he had like a 50-point performance or something like that on one of those games that he came back. All right? It's a different breed of human being nowadays. It's a different breed of athlete nowadays. It's a different kind of child nowadays. Okay? We didn't have 6-year-olds that took guns to school and shoot people. We didn't have 14-year-olds that take guns to school and shoot people. We didn't do that kind of stuff. Okay? It's just the way it goes. All right? We work because we have to work. Okay? To provide for our families. We don't call in sick all the time, every time we're feeling a little down. And that's the problem that's going on here. You play 82 games over what, a 7-month period? Brother, you got months to rest. If you happen to be a title-winning team, okay, so you only get 2 months to rest. Pobrecito. Oh, poor baby. The miner that is working all year long, the teacher that's dealing with 200 kids a day. Well, actually, the teachers get a little bit more. But let's go with everybody else. Everybody else gets about a week or two in the entire year. Sorry, teachers. I forgot you guys do get some time off. But anyway, well, your brains are fried. You need that time off. But we work. We grind. They don't do that. We was talking with Will now. Look at what X did this year. Ira was talking about that yesterday, that the beauty of football is there's only a couple of games. There's no load management in football. We don't have time for that, bro. We got 17 games. You got to play every one of them because one game will cost us the playoffs. But in basketball, for years we've joked that the regular season wasn't taken serious. And it wasn't. Now you're just insulting everyone's intelligence. You lose a game against the Magic. This is a nationally televised game on TNT. You just shit all over TNT, their sponsors, all the fans that are watching nationally, and the Miami Heat fans or any of the traveling. Can you imagine a fan that traveled for this game? What if there's a Celtic fan from Mexico? What about it? What about if there's a Celtic fan from London? And they flew over here for the game. Maybe there's a Celtic fan in New Orleans and said, oh, you know what? I'll fly down to Miami, hang out for the weekend and or the week or whatever, and go see my Celtics. And you get there and you spend some money. Are the Heat going to give you a discount because they're not playing? Are the Celtics going to say, oh, listen, hey guys, you don't have to give us our cut from attendance tonight because our guys are missing? No, I doubt that. They're going to take their money. That's disgusting, dude. There's an off season. That's when you rest. Okay? Tell the man or woman that has to get off the FP&L lines every day for six days a week. Well, there you go. You get to rest on Saturday or Sunday or the weekend or whatever. That's when you get to rest. You don't get time off during the week. Load management. The hell is this, dude? That's just like I don't even want to watch the game tonight. Why am I going to watch it? This is what I was telling Ira yesterday because I went through it. They're 14-7 in their last 21 games. Well, their last 4 games, they played New Orleans without the fat kid twice, and they played Milwaukee twice without the Greek freak. And then wins against Oklahoma City, Houston, San Antonio, Minnesota, Lakers, Utah. Phoenix has been mediocre. This is why you're 14-7. It's deceiving. You're not winning against quality teams. And the quality teams you're playing, they're not even playing with their guys. Wow, what a joke, dude. What a joke. It's almost as bad as watching the Panthers against the Rangers last night. Wow, they smoked them. That was ugly. Oh, and by the way, we want to congratulate the Panthers. No, they're back to being the Panthers.
Oh, okay.
Shitty start.
5 points out.
Shitty start, right? Right, and then now you got to kill yourself at the end, and you got to win a whole bunch of games just to squeeze into the playoffs. And this is what I was used to with the Panthers. Last year, I was like, wait a minute, am I watching the Panthers? Hold on a second, they got over 100 points. They score 100 goals a game. Now, this is not the Panthers I know. This is the Panthers. To do is get an ulcer from the game. Like half the team's out, you're going to lose to this team. You know what I'm saying? And that's happened to the Heat this year. Like, how do you measure what a team is nowadays? How do you know? Marquee games are not marquee anymore. Apparently, they don't care if it's TNT. They don't care anything. I mean, wow, this is so disrespectful at all levels. You got the offseason to rest. Can't believe it. What you got?
You a Panic at the Disco fan?
Yeah, I do like Panic at the Disco. They're good.
They're done.
They broke up?
Yes.
Oh, Singer's going to go on his own.
Well, I guess his wife is one of them has the wife that's pregnant, so he wants to watch so they're not.
Well, wait a minute. They're breaking up because the wife is pregnant?
Yeah, he says.
So
Sometimes
that
the
doesn't
journey
make
must end for a new one to begin. We've been trying to keep it to ourselves, though some of you may have heard. Sarah and I are expecting a baby very soon. The prospect of being a father and getting to watch my wife become a mother is both humbling and exciting. I look forward to this next adventure. That said, I am going to bring this chapter of my life to an end and put my focus and energy on my family. And with that, Panic at the Disco will be no more. Brendan.
Okay. I guess it's the life of comfortable. When you get comfortable, bro, you don't need to work anymore. You made enough money. I can now take days off in the season because I'm Jaylen Brown. You're going to pay me anyways. I got enough money in the bank. You know, it's like, hey, I'm Andrew Luck. Yeah, I got a bunch of injuries, but I got so much money in the bank, I can walk away. And it's a new era. There's so much money involved in all of this that the passion to do what you love can also get killed right away. And let me tell you something. It's difficult what they're doing because now the challenge of a new album and hits, that pressure's gone from you now. You made your money. Okay, now I'll go back to being, see, I kind of miss the guys. I'm going to say something really cruel now. I kind of miss the guys like Tom Brady who said, I'm retiring. Okay. Damn, this life as a husband's boring as hell. I'm going back to football.
Did you just tear him up for that the other day?
Yes. Yes. But I mean, listen, in his case, he's done everything. He's got nothing left to prove in his case. But I love the guys like X that want to play the game, like Teron Armstead that want to play the game. You know what I mean? I love, people like you too. They're still together. They're still making an album. They're all married pretty much. They've got kids. Bono's got kids. Everybody at Panic at the Disco combined will never reach Bono's status. Well, financially, lyrically, musically, everything. They won't even come close, and yet he continues. So I don't know. I mean, I get it when you're Tom Brady and football's a brutal sport and you don't need it anymore, but you're kind of young, Panic at the Disco, and you're going to be quitting already? That's weak sauce, bro. That's weak sauce, I got to say. Let's see. What else do we have? If Marino had our team, we would be in great shape. So it's not our team. Tua does not need elite team, just needs to perform. Let's see. Jay says, no, Brian, not big on injuries. Are you, Big O? Can't run up and down the court with a bad ankle, hamstring, can't shoot with a bad shoulder, wrist, or hand. Just saying. Brian, they all played last night, dude. They all played last night. They're not injured. Brian, I've got a bridge in the Keys. Okay. When you're cruising, right? It's right next to it. You can fish from it. Okay. I can make you a great offer on that bridge right now if you want, Brian. Seriously. Okay. I mean, if you believe all those guys are injured for the Celtics, then I've got a bridge for you, buddy. Okay. Build a camp on it. You can hang out, fish, cruise, enjoy yourself. It's all yours for the right price. Yes,
you
sir.
want the Jaylen Brown reason why he's out?
Yeah, why is Jaylen Brown out?
Right adductor injury management.
There you go. See,
He's
Brian?
gotta watch that right adductor
injury management. Doesn't that sound like a load of crap? If you've ever seen a load of crap, that was a load of crap right now that they just shot at you.
I'm guessing Gallinari's been out for a while, right?
Well, no, Danilo,
I'm saying, but he's been out for a while, right?
Always injured.
Well, no, but I'm saying because this says knee
that,
ACL repair. I'm guessing he's been out for a while.
Yeah. He got injured right before the season started. But you know what? That's the one guy that you tell me Danilo's in. He's always injured. Yeah, go ahead. I can believe that one. Jaylen Brown? No, I don't believe it. I saw him last night.
Brogdon's out for personal reasons.
Yeah, he's tired.
South Beach.
He's tired. I mean, dude, can you imagine the trip from Orlando to Miami? That is taxing. That just takes the toll out of everything. That sucks the life out of you from Orlando to Miami. It's a long-ass trip.
Think of the time schedule, though. What time's the game in there? 10:30-ish?
Yeah, my God.
What
would
11,
you have to do?
You get here by midnight?
Yeah.
You can hit South Beach for a while.
Right, and still sleep
till
till 5 p.m.?
Got,
That's not enough time. It's not enough
Al
time.
Horford's got low back
If he gets
stiffness.
home at 4 a.m. from South Beach and wakes up at 5 p.m, it's not enough time. No, he needs more sleep. Matthew, take it off, sir. Please, long trip. Oh, no, he's worn out.
The
Next
adductor.
one.
Al Horford, low back stiffness.
Oh, there you go. That happens. It was when he grabbed the water bottle at the end of the game, got a little back stiffness. Yep, can't play. We're done.
Come out.
It's over.
Let's see who else. Oh, Marcus Smart is a right ankle sprain.
Oh, of course. He tweaked it. Getting on the plane. Yeah.
Missed that last step.
He's fine. Yeah. That's it. So, Brian, there you go. They're super injured. They're all just, broken down and old like me. Yeah, exactly. Big O, maybe those Celtic injuries happened after going to South Beach last night. They must have had the South Beach flu. Probably. Big O, Bitcoin is going up, brother. I took a risk and got Bitcoin when it was 17, and it could go to 60K. I'll buy you and Sean a ticket to Europe. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yes, he's got a picture of a pepperoni pizza. And you went in for Bitcoin. Good for you. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto, but I don't think it'll go to 60 right now, by the way. You might want to hold off a little bit. I think in 2024 we'll be in 60s. I think we'll be somewhere into the 30s to the 40s, low 40s, but somewhere in the 30s to the 40s by the end of this year. That's what I think.
If it gets to 60, is there a show tomorrow?
Probably not. Probably not. And it's not because of Bitcoin. It's because of the altcoins that I have that will explode immensely. Okay, that's why. That's right. That's why. No, but there'll always be a show. Actually, you know me. You know me. I'm no Matthew Brogdon. We're gonna work, no matter what. It's just we'll work a lot more comfortable. Exactly. It'll be a little different. It'll be a little different. We'll work with a little bit more. That's all that would happen when it does hit. All right. By the way, for you Angels fans, because I know we have a lot of fans that listen in Los Angeles, because that's one of easily our top 15 download city. Los Angeles is in there. Artie Moreno has pulled the Angels off the market. He's keeping the team. And I got to tell you something. That's the equivalent of Jeffrey Loria saying, yeah, hey, I'm staying, guys. I mean, seriously, Artie Moreno has been an absolute disaster. Think about this. You have the number one generational player in the history of baseball. Yeah, I just said that. Ohtani does not exist, has never existed. We have to go back to the turn of the century, of the last century, some fat guy named Babe Ruth that actually pitched and hit. That was the last time we got to go back to a dude like that. And this guy's better than that guy. Okay? And then you've got Mike Trout, one of the great players of all time. And what do you have to show for it? My God. Like, do Angels fans even care? Do they exist? Because, like, there should be, like, people rioting outside, not rioting, but picketing outside that stadium, like, telling that guy to go. You know, the best thing that Artie Moreno ever did was lower beer prices when he first took over the team. That's the best thing that guy's ever done in his life. That guy has no business, and his family. And by the way, you got to look into it. I'm not going to get into it now, but there's been some shady stuff about the selling of the stadium and all that other stuff. And those of you that live in that area, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you aren't going to care if I get into that story. I'm not going to get into that story, but it's just been an outright disaster overall. And for that guy to stay, that's just terrible news for Angels fans, man. I feel bad for you guys. It's like us having Loria and then getting Bruce Sherman. It's like, there's nothing there, unfortunately. Yes, sir.
Brian Anderson, former Marlin,
I like him, man.
He had a press conference today, or was asked by reporters, and he said, on joining Milwaukee, I'm just excited to be with an organization whose focus is really on winning and competing at every level. I think that's something I'm looking forward to.
God bless him, man. I love how that kid plays. I love Brian Anderson's heart on the field. He sells out for his team. He's not the most gifted guy. He's not the guy that's going to make the All-Star or anything like that. But when you watch him, you want him on your roster. You want him as a role player. He's just a gritty guy, man. I'm a fan of Brian. Watch him have a decent season over there with those guys. I bet. By the way, Stevie Nicks is on tour, and some of the dates are with Billy Joel. So you may want to look that up. Unfortunately, no South Florida date. I've seen her several times and Billy Joel, but just in case, you may want to look it up. REO Speedwagon, also touring. They got a summer tour 2023. Kevin's voice is not as strong. No dates in South Florida. Kansas is doing their 50th anniversary tour. They will be here in Fort Lauderdale at the Broward Center on the 28th of January. On the 27th, our friends in Melbourne will get them. On the 20th, our friends in Clearwater. The 19th, Fort Myers. And the 12th, Jacksonville. So you can check it out as Kansas hits the road. All right, we are done. We're history. We're in the archives. Oh, let's do it. D Wolverines 305. Missed my super chat early. I'm so sorry, D Wolverine.
I got it right here.
You got it? You got it? Go ahead.
Coming up on the screen.
Okay. All right. All right. We will get it in there. All these crybabies need to get over it. LOL. Dolphins organization is not listening to your whining. Tua is the quarterback next season. Get over it. Exactly. And why torture yourself for the rest of the season fighting it, the rest of the offseason fighting it? Get on board, man. Be a fan. You know what I'm saying? Why complain about something that you got no control over? And why wouldn't you want Tua to succeed? And why wouldn't you want to give it one more chance? Just in case. You know what would be so Dolphins? To just trade Tua now, and he goes somewhere else, and he becomes Drew Brees. Because it's the same shit. You had the chance to sign Drew Brees. No, you had the chance to draft Drew Brees. Okay? And they chose Jamar Fletcher. Right? Then you get, this is so Dolphins, you get a second chance at a Hall of Famer. And we say, no thanks. We'll take the guy with the bum knee that can't really pass from the pocket. So Dolphins. And you know what's so Dolphins? Let's just trade away Tua, and Sean Payton picks him up and says, you're good, kid. I'll show you how to do it. And then he goes off to the Hall of Fame again. And then we sit there crying in our milk. And Drew Brees had a bad shoulder. Oh, that'll never happen. The fun fact out of all that nobody ever really understands, The Saints doctors, a few years before that, had a quarterback by the name of Aaron Brooks, who they traded for from Green Bay. Young, talented kid, had a whip of an arm, wasn't necessarily deadly accurate. Accuracy was a thing that was a little off for him at times, but had a lot of talent. And that was one of Ron Wolf's quarterbacks. One season, he had Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, Mark Brunell, and Aaron Brooks. He trades Aaron Brooks to New Orleans. He trades Mark Brunell to Jacksonville. They cut Kurt Warner, who then goes to the Bags Groceries and then ends up in the Arena League, then ends up in St. Louis. They draft Matt Hasselbeck and then trade him to Seattle. Just want you to know what Ron Wolfe is, because he's a badass. So anyways, so they trade Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, in his 4th or 5th season, I believe, with New Orleans, suffers a shoulder injury. And it was similar, not exactly the same, and they were able to rehab him and bring him back. So the Miami doctors were afraid of it because they had never worked on a guy to come back from a shoulder injury. Knees, lots of guys come back from knee injuries at that point already. So they took a chance on the knee because they weren't comfortable with the shoulder. The Saints took a chance on the shoulder because they had already been through it. So Dolphins. And so this is why I'm telling you that for all your haste and your frustrations and your anger and you're bottled up like a volcano for like the last 25 years, put a cap on it. Relax. The answer isn't right outside the door for you. Sometimes you got to work for it. Sometimes you got to be patient for it, you know? And right now, it looks like you got a coach that can figure things out. You got a front office. You definitely got the quarterback. Give it another chance. That's how it pays off. We thank Sean Stanley. We thank Will and all the great people out here at Cutter's Edge Pro for making it nice and easy for us. We'll be back here soon to get it done again. And don't forget to call our friends at Cutter's Edge Pro at 954-472-0622. That's 954-472-0622. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. We thank Cameron Wolfe and Manny Navarro. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:45 as we get you ready for our Red Recover Inside the Paint show. On behalf of the great Sean Stanley, I'm Orlando Alzagari. We'll see you tomorrow.